when you talk about priorities in administration. This is what the administration says the biggest threat is climate change. Martha asked John Kirby that yesterday, Cut 10.
He said it was more frightening than a nuclear war. Is that it's more frightening than a nuclear war in this moment?
The president believes wholeheartedly that climate change is an existential threat to all of human life on the planet. That's just science. That's fact, Martha. But it doesn't mean that we turn our back on the other challenges facing this country and our allies and partners around the world.
It seems that, especially in Central and South America, where China comes in with aid and we come in with LGBTQ rights and a program for tolerance in the military. That's the problem. Everything's backwards with these guys. But I think America's better off when the president doesn't speak or is at a barbecue, and that's sad. Listen to the Brian Kilmeade Show. So glad you're here. Don't move.
Hi, former CIA officer and survival expert Jason Hansen here. I teach people how to prepare for the unexpected. And right now, most Americans with a 401k, IRA, or other types of retirement accounts are not prepared for a financial crisis that could hit the U.S. in the next 45 days if we don't fix our ramped up government spending. I have partnered with Advantage Gold, the #1 rated precious metals company in America, to release my new Financial Crisis Survival Kit that's 100% free for everyone with a retirement account who calls in today. Simply call 800-900-8000. My Financial Crisis Survival Kit is jam-packed with valuable information on how you can protect yourself with physical gold and silver. Your first step to protection is calling 800-900-8000 and speaking to one of their Gold IRA specialists.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Check with your financial advisor before investing.
Again, simply call 800-900-8000.
It looks like wood, it feels like wood, but it's maintenance-free. It's luxurious James Hardie siding. And during Banner Construction's 30th anniversary event, you get same-as-cash financing on Hardie products and Pella windows. Let Banner Construction transform your home into the envy of the neighborhood. Call now and have Banner's design team give you some great options and a free quote. 314-569-1050. Online, bannerconstruction.com. That's 569-1050. And have a banner day.
You've listened to 97.1 FM Talk. You've heard of Doug Voss of Voss Financial and Safe Money Radio, as he has been a staple as the financial expert on the station for many years. You can hear him on Safe Money Radio several times a weekend right here on 97.1 FM Talk. And you can talk to Doug Voss directly. Here's his number. Call Doug at 844-676-SAFE. That is 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through D.H. Hill Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The president speaks as war rages on. I'm Matt Napolitano, Fox News. President Biden addressing the nation this hour from the White House as the fighting intensifies in Israel following this weekend's deadly Hamas attacks.
The punishing, unprecedented air assault into the Gaza Strip continues. With the dense population of the Gaza Strip, it is simply impossible to go in there with airstrikes or any kind of strikes, not result in civilian casualties.
Fox's Mike Tobin in Tel Aviv. This as American-Israeli families are pleading for help from the Biden administration to find their missing loved ones who may have been taken hostage by Hamas.
Nahar Netta says he and his siblings last heard their mother on the phone as someone was banging on the door to her house.
I want also to speak about the responsibility that the U.S. administration, President Biden, and the Secretary of State Blinken.
He says they need to help get these American citizens back. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
U.S. officials touting a record number of FBI terror watch list captures at the southern border, but it's not all good news.
We got 151 this year so far. Now, the Biden administration says, well, that shows they're catching more people, right? Not exactly. We'll talk about the gotaways. CBP sources telling us since President Biden took office, there have been well over 1.5 million known gotaways.
Fox's Bill Malugin in Brownsville, Texas. The United Auto Workers strike continues as one of Detroit's big three has a new offer to the union.
Most GM employees will receive a 20% wage increase with a 10% hike in the first year. Nearly all UAW employees will make $39.24 per hour or $82,000 per year in base wages by the end of the agreement. Temporary workers will also see wages increase to $20 an hour.
Fox Business Network's Ashley Webster. America's listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Oh, this cold.
Honey?
Honey?
Honey, you need DayQuil Severe Honey.
DayQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste, because life doesn't stop for a cold.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
No, I'm getting a cold.
Honey.
Try DayQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu relief. DayQuil Severe with honey flavor. The daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honeylicious, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Delightful today, sunny and 72 later on this afternoon. Tonight, partly cloudy, 48. Wednesday, a mix of clouds and sunshine. A couple of showers and thunder showers around, but no all-day rain, 78. Thursday, partly sunny, nothing more than a spot shower. Think Thursday primarily dry, 78 degrees. Friday looks wet, especially Friday afternoon and Friday night. High temperatures 72. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan is easy to reach at 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440. I want you to reach out to Stu if you've been considering purchasing a home and you need to get that mortgage. That's most people. And when you go to Stewie and you use the Bagel Loan, you are going to have the best access to the best deal in the business. The Bagel Loan is only offered at Stewart's American Mortgage. So when you contact Stewie at 314-324-4440, you know that you are going to be in the best of hands. I myself have done a refinance 2 times with Stewart's American Mortgage, and I'm very glad that I did. Absolutely zero regrets. Would recommend 100% and do again if it helped me lower my rate or better my financial situation. When you use the Bagel Loan to get your mortgage, you're going to pay nothing in closing costs that everybody else out there will charge you for. This is a huge opportunity to save boatloads of cash right there when you start to take out that biggest loan that you're probably going to have. Reach out to him at 314-324-4440 and ask about the Bagel Loan, 314-324-4440, and MLS number 226715.
If you're looking at new windows for your house, choose wisely. Mark Cox here for my friends at Window World. You want to go with a company you can trust. Ranked #1 in the number of windows sold in the country. That's according to Qualified Remodeler magazine. In just over 20 years in business, they've improved the look and obviously the thermal efficiency of over 70,000 customers in St. Louis. They're going to give you a lifetime warranty that covers all the parts and the glass breakage and the labor. It's a good product. Call them at 314-993-1800 for your free estimate. That's 314-993-1800. Window World won the Good Housekeeping Seal of Approval. That's not easy. They rely on the expertise of their in-house engineers and their analysts and their product experts to give that seal of approval. That should matter to you as well. Call for your free estimate right now. Simply the best for less at Window World. 314-993-1800, windowworld.com.
Wouldn't your kids love to take a trip to the North Pole to see Santa? Goodwill and the St. Louis Union Station have partnered to give you a chance to win a magical holiday staycation for 4 that includes all the fun at St. Louis Union Station, plus a first-class ride on the Polar Express. Drop off a donation of clothing or other items to your local Goodwill and get a secret entry code, plus 20% off St. Louis Union Station attractions. For more information about this magical staycation, visit mersgoodwill.org.
Exergen thermometers are a top choice of medical professionals at highly ranked hospitals across the U.S. Accuracy matters, so make Exergen the chosen thermometer for your home and family. Available at Walgreens and other participating retailers. Learn more at Exergen.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
STL Today is named Under Law 2023's best St. Louis law firm. We'll continue to make a difference, one case at a time.
When you're injured, call Under Law at 314 or 618-9000000.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what you're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio. I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
When the Iranians threatened to kill Americans on our watch, when they were launching artillery into the embassy, American embassy in Baghdad, Iraq, we made clear we would hold not the knuckleheads on the ground in Iraq, but we would hold the Iranian regime responsible. When we did that, we didn't create World War III, as they said we might. When we got out of the JCPOA, when we moved the embassy, they said we'd create World War III. No, what has created war here is American appeasement, American weakness. And if we don't stand with Israel, if we don't give them the tools that they need to prosecute this to the end, until Hamas is wiped out and the Iranian regime understands that the Israelis mean business and they have American support, then we will risk even more American lives.
Former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo talking about from his position as Donald Trump's Secretary of State how we got to this point. Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. It's Tuesday. Had yesterday off and Friday off, as many of you may know. I was at a volleyball tournament for my daughter. And what a weekend. I'm trying to get from gym to gym to watch some volleyball and essentially take every other minute I can to watch what is taking place in Israel with jaw dropped. I'm sure many of you have been doing exactly the same thing. The president has been scheduled to speak about 9 minutes ago, and so we are waiting for that to happen. When it does happen, we will broadcast it live right here on the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk. So keep it right here because we want to see what this president has to say about America's response to the attacks on Israel, the terrorist attacks on Israel. I think that I'm probably in a position much like many of you who are watching this. I do not have a personal connection to anybody who is in Israel, but I have personal connections who have those personal connections. I'm hearing some absolutely horrific things that are yet to come on top of horrific things that have already happened. And you know, for every once in a while, we go through different elements of the news cycle where it's not just political bickering back and forth. It is hard information to take in. The visuals are disturbing. The explanations and the illustrations of what has transpired are sickening. And this is one of those times. This is one of those news stories where, as a mother who needs to stay near the news to learn about what has come to be in Israel, it's a very, very hard thing to consume as a mom, but also to follow when you've got small kids in the house. Because the horror that is taking place, that is unfolded in Israel, is not anything that anybody is supposed to be able to see. It's not a reality that any of us, is it hard to hear that 40 of the 200 plus dead in one particular Israeli community, that 40 of them were babies? Does that make sense to you? Because I don't want to live in a world where that makes sense to me. I don't want to be in a reality where, yep, that's just how those people are. It's just what they do. But it seems as though it is. And when you are consuming these stories, one after the other, of innovatively terroristic ways that Hamas has gone into Israel, to civilian homes, and exacted the type of violence that you can't even really imagine on your own. If you were watching a horror film, you wouldn't consume it. It's too much. But it's real. It's happening. And if you don't know somebody there who is in harm's way or who has lost their life, you know somebody who does. You know somebody who knows somebody. My conversations with people who have children in Israel right now, for fear of identifying and putting anything out there that might potentially make any other specific person a target, the amount of horror that exists right now for those who still have people in Israel who are among the living, who haven't been subjected directly to these attacks. They hear the sirens, they hear the rockets. It's terrifying. And I think, I've seen this comment be made a few times on Twitter, of course. I've seen this comment be made in discussions. I've heard this comment be made, on broadcasts from varying places or on videos that I've consumed. And, the question is, what kind of distraction, massive, big distraction, what's taking place in Israel right now and in the Middle East? What kind of distraction is this for the issues that face us here at home? And I kind of wonder if what we are preoccupied with before, if that's actually the real distraction. The idea that what is taking place in Israel isn't always 1 day away, 1 hour away, that the presence of unfettered evil exists in this world, and it's not a world away. It could be right here. It's not something we entertain. When you think about the things that we bicker about on a regular basis, when you think about the things that have been aggressively pushed into our faces, and because you're generally kind and good people, and I've been tried to be that kind and good person where it's like, okay, whatever you need to get through the day. You don't indulge people in confirming the things that they need everybody at essential knife point to confirm over and over and over again that these delusions of, men playing sports with women and all of these different types of things culturally that are infiltrating our everyday lives and our conversations and breaking families apart. Are they important issues? They are, because for some reason, so many people in the United States specifically are willing to allow these conversations to happen and not stand up and say, no, this is what is good, this is what is wrong, this is what is right, this is what is wrong, this is what is good, this is what is evil. And then you see what's happening in Israel. You see what these Hamas terrorists are willing to do to civilians. If they were doing this to military members, to people who sign up, it would still be barbaric. It's not like, I understand this, the idea that it's women, the elderly, and children, that somehow or another it's a line too far. Of course it is. But, it's a line past the line that's too far. If you were to behave this way in some sort of military situation to other military on the other side, it would still be barbaric. When I talk to people who have fought in this region of the world, they are not shocked by what is taking place. This is how they fight. This is how they fought. This isn't new. It's new to you and me because we are so blessed to live in this country that we get to indulge in this far left progressive woke battle every day where we're going to go fight for what's right because we have it so amazingly good here for now. But there are people in Israel right now wondering not what they're going to do tomorrow or this weekend. They're wondering what is going to happen in the next hour. They're wondering what's going to happen in the next minutes. There are people that they haven't heard from that they don't know if they're alive. And if you don't know if they're alive, was it a rocket attack or was it the worst possible thing times a million that you could even possibly come up with and imagine yourself that happened to those that you love? What is right and what is wrong, and who is willing to finally stand up and say, no, I am not going to quietly sit by while people spew nonsense on a regular basis, while people stand up for something that, maybe you haven't opened your mind up enough to understand why you're wrong on this issue. No, maybe I've opened my mind up so much that I'm haven't been willing to see so clearly what is obviously right there in front of our eyes, in front of our ears, to where we can point at something and say, that is godless evil walking on earth. I don't have any solutions. Militaristically, I'm a suburban mom who's supposed to be fretting over my emotions as to whether or not I can actually vote for Donald Trump. Barf. If Donald Trump were the president right now, this conflict would not be happening. When we were looking to elect Donald Trump in 2016 versus Hillary Clinton, we were told that what is taking place right now would happen if Donald Trump were the president, and it didn't. Joe Biden is MIA. He has time for barbecues. He ends his day before noon, and the world is on fire, and Americans are dead. I am in no way, shape, or form the ultra-ist, MAGA-ist person that you're going to hear on the radio, for sure, and there's nothing wrong with that. But Donald Trump would not have us in this conflict the way we are right now. And it's about time that people start waking up to what is real, what is at our doorstep, what has crossed our doorstep on the southern border, what might be in our communities right now, might be listening to this broadcast at this very moment. We have nothing left to lose in humanity if we can't look at what is taking place in Israel and call it out for the evil that it is. I do not know what the president is going to say. I know that he's going to say it very soon, and we're going to cover it here. And I want you to stick with us on the Annie Frey Show. You can join us. We're going to watch it together on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. But keep it right here on 97.1 FM Talk, because we are committed to having the news as it happens for you throughout the course of this entire conflict. Where is America's position in it? We don't know yet. But we will wait and hear what our president has to say about it. If you're a praying person, you need to be praying hard right now. And we need to be in a position as a country to come together before you come together. Israel was in conflict, political conflict, for quite some time right now. You think that they care about all those issues they bickered back and forth about right now? Because right now they need each other to survive. Wake up, America. It's your turn. Do it before it comes to our shores. Do it before it lands here on American soil. I want to take a quick break, and as we wait for President Biden to speak and deliver his remarks on Israel, we'll break into any commercial break, any coverage, whatever it might be, when he does start speaking. So keep it right here. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I want to talk to you about Classic Kitchen Refacing online at classickitchenrefacing.com, because this is a wonderful way that you can move into refacing your kitchen cabinets, which really replaces the idea of having to replace all of those cabinets. It's incredibly less expenditure to remodel your kitchen this way. So if you've looked into doing a kitchen remodel and you had a little sticker shock, you haven't talked to Classic Kitchen Refacing yet, because they can give you they can deliver those same results for incredibly less. They also have the most beautiful countertops that you can select from, add a backsplash, a new kitchen sink, and refinish those cabinets in a wood or paint color. And pretty soon you are going to have a brand new, modern, refreshed kitchen for incredibly, incredibly less. You can call them at 314-739-1730, 314-739-1730, and talk to them about how they can help you with your kitchen remodel. Tell them the Annie Frey Show sent you, or just visit them at their location in St. Anne. It's a wonderful store. I visited myself with the best people in the business. 314-739-1730, classickitchenrefacing.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-700-6898. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898 or biglou.com.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE, the medical providers at Paramount Men's Medical Center offer breakthrough treatments that eliminate problems in the bedroom without pain or surgery. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Paramount Men's Medical Center offers the most advanced treatments to eliminate ED and PE. 98% of men experience instant results on their first office visit. They're even lasting 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Don't just take our word for it. Call Paramount Men's Medical Center now for our limited time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. You'll see instant results right in the office. You'll even get a gift that enhances your performance in the bedroom. All this, worth hundreds of dollars, is free if you call now. 314-720-8081. 314-720-8081. That's 314-720-8081.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 54 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
All this week, the Mark Cox Morning Show is giving away tickets to see Kiss every day. It's the End of the Road Tour, Wednesday, October 25th at Enterprise Center. Between 5 and 9 on the Mark Cox Morning Show.
Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Any man of mine better be proud of me. Even when I'm ugly, still better love me. And I can be late for a date, that's fine.
What do you say about the argument that money is fungible? So Iran may have known this money is coming and used other funds to help fund this attack that happened.
Iran has unfortunately always used and focused its funds
on supporting terrorism, on supporting groups like Hamas. And it's done that when there have been sanctions. It's done that when there haven't been sanctions. And it's always prioritized that. And again, I come back to the proposition that these funds have always been, under the law, available to Iran to use for humanitarian purposes.
So that $6 billion that we keep hearing about, it was freed up money, funds that go to Iran. Fungible, that's the word that keeps being used about it. Okay, so you're going to use that $6 billion just for humanitarian purposes. Is there $6 billion somewhere else that Iran was going to use for humanitarian purposes that they can now use to fund terror against the Israeli people, which has also taken, I think the number is now 11 American lives? We have to be in a position where we can talk about these things and use common sense. We are so adherent to the blue jersey or the red jersey that we generally don on any given day, and we have to be able to look at these things and say, well, this is obvious. We need our American government to represent what the American people believe, and as American people, we need to talk about what's in our best interests, not what's in the best interest of our political party. We have to be able to speak up on these issues. We are awaiting the president's remarks regarding the Israel attacks, and what the president is going to say, we don't know, but we're going to cover it live right here on the Annie Frey Show as soon as it happens. But I am very happy to be able to welcome onto the show Congressman Mike Bost, who is U.S. Congressman for Illinois' 12th District. I think when we booked you, Congressman, that we were going to talk about House things, and I'm curious about that. But, Mike, I wanted to give you the opportunity to speak right now to what took place in Israel and just provide us your thoughts on these events from this weekend.
Well, let me tell you, when Saturday morning we woke up to the Hamas terrorism, attack, and that's what it is. It's terrorism. They are not anything but terrorists. We know we have over 900 dead. I think now they're reporting near 1,000. 11 Americans and thousands or more are injured. You know, it's violence against civilians. It includes women and children. It includes the elderly. We're watching those scenes play out. The problem is that, well, let's be very, very clear. We as a nation will continue to stand with Israel. I always have. There's never been a question from that standpoint as far as Mike Bost is concerned. We have a few of our squad members, unfortunately, that try to say Israel has caused this in some way, and that Hamas is, instead of condemning the terrorism the way it is, they have actually celebrated some of it, even to the point that one of the members of the squad is now hanging a Palestinian flag outside her office. It is very frustrating as a person who is a true believer and follower of Israel as our closest allies, and that we've worked together with them since they were first formed as a nation. So it's devastating, but I have talked to I'm close friends with a guy that was one of the original designers of the Iron Dome. I've talked to him. His two sons and his son-in-law are now already serving in the military there. Mm-hmm. They've moved forward. I was just on the phone with him about 3 hours ago. And so his daughter-in-law and two daughters and grandchildren are in his house with him. But we'll pray for them, and we as a nation need to act. We have to first off go back in and have a speaker so that we can actually act, and that's the unfortunate thing of removing a speaker, that you put yourself in a vulnerable position not to be able to quickly react to things like this.
We're speaking with Congressman Mike Bost as we await the President of the United States remarks on the actions that took place this weekend. We will break into that coverage should he begin his speech. I want to give you the opportunity to comment on that removal of the speaker. Congressman, what was your position on the efforts of Matt Gaetz and the 7 who joined him?
Here's the problem with Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz is more about how often he can get on the news, how he can, so he probably saw his numbers falling as far as his fundraising and how he raises money online, and he does things like this to draw attention to himself and at the sacrifice of this nation. There is a process that's been in place that to make that motion, but that motion, those 8 joined with Democrats to basically put us as Republicans into a more vulnerable position. Now, let me tell you that under the leadership over this, since Kevin was elected Speaker, We've passed legislation to secure the southern border, unleash American energy potential. We passed legislation to do that. We've ensured parents have a say in their children's learning in the classroom and gave the Parents' Bill of Rights. We've provided for our veterans. We've overturned crippling COVID mandates from Biden. All of these things, whether they've moved in the Senate or not, we've moved them out of the House. But the most important thing we have to do is to continue to move our conservative agenda forward. I believe that we were doing that under Kevin. That being said, now we're at a point that we've got to make a decision between Steve Scalise and Jim Jordan as Speaker. There is a group that is pushing for Kevin. I'm weighing out all of these things and making a decision based on their input tonight. Last night was a time to talk among all of us, and we did that. Tonight will be a time where they will present themselves before us. They will somebody can give a 2-minute nomination speech for the individual candidates, and then there will be allowed for 2 seconds for each of those. And then we'll hear from them, and we'll make our votes tonight. And our idea and intent is we will be united when we leave there. Last night's conversation was hot, but it was good. It was non-threatening. There was conflict, but not combat. Okay, that's about the best way I can describe it. Because it is. But when we come to the floor, we have to be united. We have to be united because there's still so many things to do. Not only move forward with the budget, we have to remember we're on a clock right now with the continuing resolution. We're well under the 40 days now. I think we're down to about 35 days, and we still have 12 budget. We have 8 of our budget bills to move in that time. Now, understand this: the Senate has taken absolutely nothing up. We have passed, though we've only passed 4 budget bills, the 4 budget bills we've passed are 70% of the overall budget. But the Senate has picked up nothing. So, and I just don't want to see us all of a sudden at the end of this going to shut down and then the Senate say, well, that's because the House didn't do their work. Or the Democrats say, well, yes, if the Republicans in the House would have done their work. Well, we're doing our work, but the Senate isn't doing their part either.
Congressman Mike Bost with us right now, Illinois' congressman for the 12th District. He's also the chair of the House Veterans Affairs Committee. You mentioned McCarthy, Jordan, and Scalise. McCarthy is as maybe, so you're saying there's a chance level of interest for him to be the speaker once again.
Well, there's several members. There's several members that have said that that's who they're going to vote for. So we'll see how that plays out.
Do you believe of those 3 names that are listed? I mean, would you think that the House would be in good hands with any of those 3 gentlemen?
Look, we have 3 very good leaders that are truly conservative, that want to advance those conservative ideas. My big fear is if we don't change that rule, that one single person can make a motion to vacate the chair. If we allow that to keep going, and that you can just do it willy-nilly with our members that we have today. The frustration is what happens when we're a month down the road. And let me give you an example, okay? Let's say it's Jim Jordan. And Jim Jordan would be great. Jim says he can be the uniter, and he says he can get the 7 or the 8 to come and be united. Well, that's true of 7 of the 8 because they're conservatives, but Nancy Mace is a more moderate. So what if all of a sudden we cut things in the budget that she doesn't want? And we did it as a majority, and they were going to move forward with that particular budget, and she's angry. Now she's going to move to vacate the chair, which even if we all stay together on the other side and we don't vacate, it still causes a rift and a ruckus when we need to be focused on what our job needs to be. So we need to work out those problems as well.
Is the changing of the rules, does the whole House vote on that, and you just need a simple majority to change the rule?
We actually have because we're switching speakers, we can then change the rule as well. That is a completely separate vote. We would do it in our conference to bring forward a rule that everybody would agree to. The challenge is to do that. There's a group that says, no, we want to keep it this way. Well, that keeps us in turmoil, and that's a problem. I think, I would suggest that if you have 20 or if you have 24 or give a number that can join with and then make the motion to vacate. Or if you want to keep the power and you have that rule in there, but also add this. fine. If we want to make it to where one person can make a motion to vacate the chair, that's fine. That anyone can make that motion to vacate the chair. But if you choose to make that motion and you don't have 24 with you or what the number we set, then that motion fails. You are removed from all your committee assignments.
Yeah, it's going to be a hindrance to the business of the American people getting done in the United States House of Representatives. I think that a lot of people, they don't necessarily know all the civics behind it, but with the House in disarray, that's the way it looks from the outside looking in without a speaker. Of course, that was a political calamity for the House Republicans, according to a lot of what the media was reporting. I think there's a possibility that the Republicans come out stronger because of it. How do you see the House's position right now, speakerless House, affecting anything that's going on with how we support Israel as their greatest ally?
Let me be very clear on that. There is already a resolution that is out there, okay? But we can't move any legislation, so we can't move forward with the resolution in the clear state of Congress on what we want to do. Remember who has the power. If all of a sudden this escalates to a point that the president understands that something has to be done, a president can't declare war. I hope that we would never come to that, but we are without a speaker right now. So there are major things that we cannot move forward with. Now, let me also say this for the security, so give a little bit of peace to your listeners. Our security committee that's over what is going on with intel and everything like that, they are still able to meet with the powers that be that have the intel to get security. Those with security clearances and need to know are still able to meet and we are going to have a briefing on what's going on in Israel as a group, so we're able to still do that.
Last question before we let you go, and Congressman Bost, we're very grateful for your time, and I'm going to have Brad reach out to your office again and as this process continues, because we want to continue to hear your thoughts on it from the inside. But the President of the United States is going to speak here in a minute. Yesterday, he called a lid before noon, and the day before that, he was celebrating at the White House. He's had barbecues. It's been very bizarre as a citizen watching a particular ally of ours burn in the most horrific, barbaric atrocities taking place in Israel. He's going to speak here at some point, any minute now. What do you expect to hear from your president, and what do we need to hear from our president?
We need to hear that we are united behind Israel as a nation, that we are, that the administration is in and paying attention and actually understanding the position of where Israel is, not for a ceasefire, because you can't understand how crazy that sounds right now when there is no choice but for Israel to move on to a ground game, and that we would stand in support of them, and that we would send a clear message, which I think we are doing by having our naval ships in position to send a clear message to Iraq to stand down, and other countries to stand down. And that the allies of Israel can support Israel in the way that they need to respond to this heinous attack, and to be very, very clear that what things like the Squad are saying, or what several state legislators in Illinois actually signed on to a letter about, that this is not Israel's fault. This is very clearly a terrorist attack that must be responded to.
Are you confident the president will be able to deliver that message?
I pray he does.
All right. I appreciate your time. Congressman Bost, thank you for being here today. Take care. United States Congressman in Illinois' 12th District. He's the chair of House Veterans Affairs Committee. He's a Marine. He served, and he was gracious enough to give us some of his time there. We're going to take a quick break. We are waiting for the president to speak. We have Wiggins America when we come back. We might push that. We might punt that down to the rest of the show. We've got a very big 1 o'clock hour scheduled for you as well. And as we all sit and wait on the president of the United States to be speaking here, we will cover that live when it happens. We are going to continue on with the show as is planned. At 1:05, Dakota Wood, who is a senior research fellow for defense programs at the Heritage Foundation, is going to join us. And I know specifically when Russia had invaded Ukraine, Dakota Wood was one of my favorite voices to talk to about that incident, and his knowledge on the military is impeccable. And so we welcome him onto the show at 1:05. And then a very special guest on the Annie Frey Show at 1:25. We will speak with the chief political anchor at Fox News. Bret Baier joins the Annie Frey Show at 1:25. You're in the right place right here on 97.1 FM Talk. We've got breaking news as it happens, live coverage. Do not go away. Take us back to your office. Put us up on the Odyssey app. Join us on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Comment. We'll be back with live coverage of the president as soon as he speaks on the Annie Frey Show.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Any man of mine. Well, any man of mine better do so.
Air Comfort Service, you find them online easily at aircomfortservice.com. Right now, you can get your heating system checked, and it's a good idea to doing it. We turned on our furnace last night for the first time. You've probably done that as well. Since fall is here and cold winter days are just around the corner, schedule that heating system check. You keep your HVAC system running efficiently all throughout the year with routine system checks from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. And if you're like me, you don't think of these things on your own. You need somebody like me on the radio going, hey, get your system checked, because you want to make sure you avoid those costly repairs that can creep up on you when you don't do the regular maintenance that's provided. I recommend purchasing one of their maintenance plans for a regularly scheduled system check. Both the furnace and air conditioner are checked twice a year, and it's for a low monthly cost. Air Comfort Service maintenance plans start at only $15 per month, and if you pay monthly, you get your 12th month free. This is a great way to make sure you don't have to pay for those expensive repairs without doing the proper maintenance on your system. Call Air Comfort Service at 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. You can find them right now online at aircomfortservice.com.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, health care, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
St. Louis physician Dr. Abicki created Neovitin 15 years ago to help support his own nutrition when he needed it most. Since then, Neovitin has helped thousands of people support their daily nutrition with sensible doses of vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and Dr. Abicki's proprietary blend. If you're ready to join many St. Louisans in supporting their nutrition, give Neovitin a try. You can find Neovitin at your local Schnucks, Dierbergs, and online at neovitin.com.
All right, today's YouTube live chat poll is an important one. We want to know what you think. Will this war
come to America? Yes or no? Let us know. We will be monitoring that throughout the show and giving you the results of the poll at the end of the day. The time right now, 12:45. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
You could be watching this right now. Tune into the Annie Frey Show live stream. YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Twitter. You know what? Just type in Annie Frey Show live stream.
My house in Budapest, my hidden treasure chest, golden grand piano, my beauty focus EOU. Ooh, you, ooh, I'd leave it all. My acres of land I've achieved. It may be hard for you to stop and believe, but for you, I'd leave it all. Ooh, for you, I'd leave
This
it all.
is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Reason why I should never make a change.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. It's been interesting to consume information. How confusing is it to, Brad, you've been paying a lot of attention to this too. You had yesterday off. So it's like you sit there and you just soak everything up. And I'm asking myself with everything I see, is this real? And how many times have you seen something be shared, a video, and they're like, that's from the last attacks in 2000, whatever. And they're not even from this current specific situation. It's very difficult to try to honestly consume reality from the events that are taking place in Israel. And I'm very sensitive to the idea that there are people who would benefit on tugging at my heartstrings.
Mm-hmm.
There's a story out there. I mean, I've said this earlier. There are stories that are more horrific than I could imagine on myself. Annie, imagine the worst possible thing you can think of. These stories are real, and they're worse.
Yeah. The depths of human depravity know no bounds. It's unreal to me. Watching some of the footage that comes out. And like you said, I know people are trying to tug on my heartstrings, but at the same time, these aren't fake. These aren't fake videos. These are real videos of real people being really hurt. And I just, like, one of the ones that sticks with me was a pile of elderly people at a bus stop that they just shot. I cannot get my mind wrapped around what kind of vile hatred you have to have in your heart for a people for no other reason than who they are.
I found this Anti-Defamation League, Jonathan Greenblatt was on MSNBC. And I'm just going to give you, I mean, this aired on MSNBC. These words came from MSNBC, but it's pretty graphic. So if you're listening right now, I just want you to know that I'm going to play this. And there's some articulation here that makes you cringe and takes your stomach turn a little bit. But I think it's important that we do have the reality of the situation out there. And this is somebody from the ADL on MSNBC chastising MSNBC on MSNBC at the time because of how they're handling it.
So I will be honest and maybe a little more vulnerable than I normally would be. These have been some of the hardest days of my adult life. I don't ever remember a moment like this. I have family in Israel right now under siege and being deployed to the front lines. I have staff who can't locate their family. I have friends who are gone. And I think Ambassador Danone put it well in a context that Americans can understand 9/11, the evil that was perpetrated here. But the scale, Jonathan, the right comparison is Nagasaki. This was like an atomic bomb. And as 40,000 people were killed in Japan when they dropped that bomb in Nagasaki, so too were the hundreds upon hundreds of people who were killed in Israel. And so while I am sad and trying to cope, I'll be honest, I am angry. I am angry with the world that allowed the dehumanization of Israelis and sanitized the terrorism of Hamas. I must say, I love this show and I love this network. But I've got to ask, who is writing the scripts? Hamas? The people who did this, they are not fighters, Jonathan. They are not militants, and I'm looking right at the camera. They are terrorists. It is a barbarian who rapes and brutalizes women, who kills children in front of their parents, and then brings them over to Gaza.
Yeah. Who's writing the scripts? What a statement. We're listening and waiting for the President of the United States to speak, and we don't know when it will be because it was supposed to take place 50 minutes ago. Last week, we had the national emergency test that had everybody going nuts over, way more than I even knew. I didn't even realize it was like a big thing where people were really bent out of shape about it. And they went 2 minutes early, and it's funny to go back and watch all the other media outlets experience that. Everybody was prepared for it, but 2 minutes early, there it goes, and it still caught folks like us off guard. If you went back and watched the YouTube live, you could see that I was about to talk about, hey, just so you know, in 2 minutes, we're going to air this emergency broadcast signal, and this is what you need to know. And like right when I started to do that, boom, there the thing went. So we were 2 minutes early for that, and we are now 51 minutes late for the President of the United States to speak on this issue. What's he doing? How do you notify the country that you're going to speak at 1 p.m. Eastern and be 51 minutes late? What's going on? I'm curious. Is he up for the job? I don't know. I'd like to hear what he has to say, and I think you would too. In the 1 o'clock hour, as I mentioned before, we're going to talk to Dakota Wood, who is very, very good at talking about the militaristic situations, the relations between the countries, specifically these in the Middle East. He's going to be able to talk to us about this conflict and give us the context that might help us. I don't even know if it's possible to say that we can understand what's happening, but he can maybe explain it. So we'll talk to Dakota Wood at 1:05, and then at 1:25, Bret Baier is going to join us. And this is interesting. He has a book out. We're going to talk to him about his book, but we're also going to talk to him about what's going on in Israel, the news, politics, and how it involves how it wraps everything up that he would cover on his news desk every day. His book is called To Rescue the Constitution, George Washington and the Fragile American Experiment. And I actually think that being able to talk to him about how fragile the American experiment was and potentially is couldn't be more timely than in this moment right now. As we wait to hear what the President of the United States has to say about the grotesque actions of Hamas over the weekend that has continued, I'll tell you something that was shared with me from somebody who has a family member in Israel right now. They were told that they needed to delete TikTok and Instagram from their phones because they are going to broadcast on those platforms the murder of some of the youngest hostages that they have over there if Israel does not stop their attacks. I don't understand the depravity of that scenario. You can't explain it to me, but this is how these people are, and there's no place for it. There's no place for that type of existence, that subhuman type of existence. And I would like to know what the president has to say about it. We'll have it here live on the Annie Frey Show. As soon as it does happen, we will break into whatever we're doing at the time to carry it and cover it for you. You can watch it with us as well on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. We'll broadcast it there. Listen to what Greg Gutfeld had to say about it.
Imagine if our intel agencies had focused not on parents and Catholic churches, but maybe on this other stuff, these people that are on the street right now. Who knows? We no longer have the luxury of a non-president. We no longer have the luxury of to have a non-border.
So when Gutfeld is talking about a non-president and a non-border, again, I can't overstate. It's not possible to dramatize how destructive this president's lack of attention to the southern border has been. It is Kamala Harris laughable at best to think about appointing her as some sort of border czar, and she doesn't even go. She doesn't even care. You've seen the videos. You've seen where they show military-aged men crowded at the border, coming on in. What's going on there? These are not people who are seeking refuge. I don't know what they're seeking, but whatever it is, Joe Biden is saying, come on in. I hope that we understand whatever happens next, Joe Biden allowed. He invited it. And we need somebody who is going to take this issue and be very clear and stern about the direction that America is going to move in 2024. Should another person be elected, if that other person is not Joe Biden, who I am telling you right now is not going to be the Democratic nominee for president, it's just not going to happen. If he is the Democratic nominee, I will be beside myself shocked. Whomever is running on the left, whomever is running on the right, we are in a position right now as the American people to explain that this issue of the southern border and what we are going to do about the people who are in our country right now, we have to make sure that we are very clear on our expectations about the sovereignty of our borders, the security of our families in this country, because the current administration doesn't take it seriously at all. In the 1 o'clock hour, we're going to speak with Dakota Wood. We're going to speak with Bret Baier at 1:25, and we wait to hear the President of the United States speak. We'll be right back.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Retired or retiring soon? How much money do you need to live comfortably? Retirement Planners of America is here for you. Would you like to have financial peace of mind? Here's how. Step 1. Find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2. Have a plan to get there. Step 3. Make sure that plan can take advantage of market gains but protect you from market losses. Discover how to do all three with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
I want to invite you to an event that I'm going to be attending. It's October 26th. I'm going to MC this event. It is an evening with the Robertsons, brought to you by the Vitae Foundation. If you go to prowomanaapproach.com, you're going to be able to get your tickets reserved for this. The Robertsons, Al and Lisa Robertson of the Duck Dynasty family, are going to be joining us for a night to benefit the Vitae Foundation and to help women who may be considering abortion get the access to information, free science information that is going to show them what's happening in their body and provide them those resources they need to choose life. It all happens on October 26th. It's at Bogey Hills Country Club in St. Charles, Missouri, and it's an evening with Al and Lisa Robertson of the Duck Dynasty family. I will be there, and I would adore the opportunity to meet you there as well. So come on out. The registration and social starts at 6 p.m. The dinner and the program is from 7 to 9 p.m. These are always wonderful events, and this one is going to be exceptional as well. Reserve your tickets online right now by visiting prowomanaapproach.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-652-5241 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-652-5241. That's 800-652-5241. What do you have to lose? Call 800-652-5241. Again, 800-652-5241.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio, 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
President Biden stands with Israel. I'm Matt Napolitano, Fox News. The president and Vice President Harris speaking to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu today, offering assistance after those devastating Hamas attacks.
The U.S. is rushing aid to Israel. The squadrons of fighter jets left the United States in the last 48 hours, and the first tranche of munitions are already on its way, according to NSC coordinator John Kirby. The Pentagon has reached out to U.S. defense industry leaders to accelerate existing contracts for weapon shipments to Israel.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon as fighting intensifies in Israel.
We have seen action on both sides. All day we've been hearing the Israeli fighter planes going overhead, hitting targets very close to here and further down Gaza Strip. And the Israeli Defense Force, the IDF, confirms they have hit 250 targets during the day. They call it the Hamas infrastructure. It is one of the strongest days yet of their activity.
Fox's Greg Palcott near the Gaza border. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer is cutting his trip to Asia short because of the crisis in the Middle East. A spokeswoman for the New York senior senator says Schumer will return to New York Thursday after meeting with South Korea's president tomorrow in a meeting that has been pushed up. In New York City, police presence has been ramped up in Jewish communities and places of worship.
We are extremely conscious of that. You know, there are those that could exploit the situation.
Mayor Eric Adams, this as supporters of Israel and backers of the Palestinian cause are holding competing rallies for another day in New York City. 4 Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputies were taken to the hospital this morning after a fire during a training incident. The extent of the injuries is unknown at this time. On Wall Street, all 3 major indices right now in the green, the Dow up over 195. America's listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Can't sleep with this cold.
Honey.
Honey?
Honey, you need NyQuil Severe Honey.
NyQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a dreamy honey taste.
Feeling better, honey? Honey? I'll take that as a yes.
Try NyQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu symptom relief. NyQuil Severe with honey flavor. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, fever. Honeylicious, best sleep with a cold. Medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Delightful today, sunny and 72 later on this afternoon. Tonight, partly cloudy, 48. Wednesday, a mix of clouds and sunshine. A couple of showers and thunder showers around, but no all-day rain, 78. Thursday, partly sunny, nothing more than a spot shower. Think Thursday primarily dry, 78 degrees. Friday looks wet, especially Friday afternoon and Friday night. High temperature 72. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
If you are shopping for something sparkly, I want you to check out the Diamond Shop in Clayton. They know how to take care of you, and they are excited to do it. If you go online to thediamondshop.net, you can sign up right now to become a VIP, which gets you extra sales, extra opportunities to save on some very pretty things for yourself, or maybe for a Christmas gift or a Hanukkah gift for somebody. Go to thediamondshop.net. All October, 50% off all diamond studs. Oh my gosh. I'll be right back. I want to go get some for myself. You need to make sure that you go online. You can see the different things that they have available for you. But 50% off all diamond studs. What a wonderful gift to give to somebody special in your life. And all month long, they have a trade-in and trade-up event. All diamond studs purchased at the Diamond Shop are eligible for the trade-up event. This is one of my favorite things that they do because, let's be honest, sometimes the girl wants some diamond studs, but you can't afford the big ones. You get a nice starter set from the Diamond Shop, and then you can trade them up and trade them in. When you go into the Diamond Shop, all diamond studs purchased at the Diamond Shop are eligible for this trade-up event. Just spend $1 more on your entire purchase price of your diamond studs is credited towards your new purchase when you trade it in. If you want to learn more, if you want to become a VIP, go to thediamondshop.net.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right? You need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
We are imposing a complete siege on Gaza. There will be no electricity, no food, no water, no fuel. Everything will be closed. We are fighting against human animals, and we are acting accordingly.
So the Israeli defense minister delivering that message, the retaliation of the attacks over the weekend from Hamas into civilian neighborhoods in Israel, and the world watches in horror. We welcome our guest onto the show. Dakota Wood joins us, the Senior Research Fellow for Defense Programs at the Heritage Foundation. Dakota, welcome back to the show. Thank you for being with us.
Always good to be with you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Dakota. I want to give you the opportunity to set the tone for Americans watching right now. Some of the stories that I've read are so barbaric, I can't even understand them. I hope I never understand them. Are the atrocities that we have read about, things maybe we've seen on Twitter that are unimaginable in a civilized society, are these real things? Is this how these people fight?
It is, and I think there is historical reference points. You know, we know that some of the cartels in Mexico have killed opponents by dipping them in acid and beheading them and dismembering them and then strewing those body parts on, resort beaches and in towns and trash barrels. I mean, that's documented. We saw what Islamic State did when they would capture people. They would drug them, put them in cages, douse them with gasoline and immolate or burn them to death. So, these sorts of things happen in parts of the world where people have dramatically different values here in the United States. And because they're so horrific, we have a really hard time relating to those. Is it just a Wes Craven horror movie or is it reality? And unfortunately, it's reality. And so what we have coming out of the Gaza area and what these barbarians did to Israeli citizens, older women, young women, children. This latest report about upwards of 40 infants, 40 babies that had been massacred and some of them beheaded. These are corroborated by multiple reporting sources. So this is what the Israeli people are having to deal with, and why you have folks like Netanyahu saying, that's it, the gloves are off, we will obliterate, absolutely destroy Hamas as any kind of recognizable entity, because we cannot tolerate this sort of threat to Israel. And we have to send a message to other terrorist groups like Hezbollah operating out of southern Lebanon, and certainly putting the country of Iran on notice, that has come out in support of the Palestinians and Hamas, although denying direct interaction with them in this particular assault, which no one believes.
We're speaking with Dakota Wood, the Senior Research Fellow for Defense Programs at the Heritage Foundation. It is very hard to hear those illustrations of what is taking place over there. And to me, it sounds very simple. And what my emotions want to have happen next, it's pretty clear. It's pretty cut and dry. But I hear a lot of people saying, well, this is a very complicated situation. And you need to know the geography of the region and understand the historical context. There's no historical context that makes anything that you just said to me not cut and dry. What do you say to those folks?
Well, the Israelis have shown remarkable restraint. In spite of all the criticism that they've gotten from folks who are championing the Palestinians and others, there's just a lot of hatred against the state of Israel since its founding in 1948. But when we think back to the Gulf War in 1991, U.S. forces with a whole Arab coalition was going to try to kick Saddam Hussein out of Kuwait. And so what did Hussein did? He started sending missiles into Israel. The U.S. asked Israel not to fight back because there was a concern about breaking up the Arab coalition, which we needed to go in to eject Iraqi forces. So again, it's a historical example where the Israelis have shown remarkable restraint. When they go in with their operations into various areas, it's very surgical. They try to target just the enemy forces and spare civilian casualties. But groups like Hamas will put their command centers underneath hospitals, underneath schools, behind civic centers, so that they can conduct operations against Israel, knowing that Israel won't retaliate with the possibility of civilian casualties. So using human shields is a Hamas tactic going back decades. And so it's just a reminder of what the Israelis are dealing with once again. If we think about 9/11, just fewer than 3,000 Americans dead in those three attacks, New York, Washington, and then the aircraft over Pennsylvania, on a casualty ratio basis, the size of our country losing 3,000 back then. Today, with 1,000 Israeli dead, a 9.5 million population, that would be equivalent to us losing 33,000 Americans in a single day, 33,000. So can you imagine George Bush with megaphone in hand standing on the rubble of the World Trade Center calling for restraint, right, and negotiating some kind of a ceasefire with Al-Qaeda so we could negotiate or talk through our differences? For anybody to expect Israel to be doing that now, right, is just fanciful. I mean, it's so unreasonable. The complexity of that region, absolutely. They're ringed by Egypt, by Syria, by Lebanon, half of which is controlled by Hezbollah. They're always concerned about some kind of a strike by Iran. And so as other governments in that region try to deal with how they respond to what Hamas is doing, they have to be aware of their own populations in Saudi Arabia, in the United Arab Emirates, in Qatar, and others. And so the governments are going to be very hesitant to condemn Hamas and to condemn the Palestinians for fear of their own people believing that they are supporting Israel, which doesn't set well with a lot of folks in that area. So it's a very complicated, messy situation, but I think it's going to be very, very bloody in the weeks ahead.
We're speaking with Dakota Wood. As you know, we are awaiting the President of the United States to speak on these atrocities that are taking place in Israel. And, Dakota, I think there is a waning confidence that this is the man for the job, but he is the man who has the job. What do Americans and what do Israelis and what does the world need to hear from the President of the United States this afternoon?
Well, a competence and some kind of mental alertness. I mean, how could we be 3 days into this atrocity and not have heard anything directly from the President of the United States? So when he comes out to give his speech, we should be looking for confidence, for clarity, for where the United States stands in support of Israel and what that support might be. And he can't mince words. He can't dance around the issue and talk about it being complicated and reasonable minds need to come together and pray for peace. The clarity needed in this moment is what Biden is going to have to deliver on. And he'll do that against the backdrop of freeing up $6 billion for Iran to use, which was a ransom payment. Nobody believes it was anything but. The fact that that's been made available to Iran for food and medicine just means that Iran can use its own money to continue supporting Hezbollah and Hamas, right? So, the nuclear deal, the extension of Obama-era policies, and then reporting now about our open southern border and how so many people from the Middle East, from countries that have no security controls whatsoever, have been coming into the United States at record numbers, right? At record numbers in the last 2 years. So when Biden speaks, there'll be a huge amount of skepticism, and he's going to have to battle through that, and we'll just see how his performance is. Does he kind of waddle on stage? Does he appear confused? Or is he command of the facts, and does he articulate his position with some kind of authority?
Dakota Wood with us right now with the Heritage Foundation. You have served, you have led, you think policy. When the world looks to see Joe Biden right now, not just the Americans who are in the middle of a campaign where everything's just really nasty and that we're kind of used to that right now. When the world sees America on the stage and the president speak, do they see the same things that we see with, hoping that at minimum we have a competent president? Is that going to be evident across the world?
They'll look at it even more closely because, people who live in other countries aren't part of our kind of daily give and take. What do you think of Donald Trump? What do you think of Ron DeSantis? What do you think of Kamala Harris or what have you? I mean, we kind of live this debate on a daily basis. Externally, they look at the United States as this monolithic enemy. Who is in charge? Right? You think about prime ministers and kings and oligarchs in other countries. There is a firm handle on the levers of power. And so while people understand how we have a judiciary and we have a legislative branch and an executive branch, when the president comes out to speak, he is speaking on behalf of the entire country, the United States of America. So this perception of energy, of confidence, of competence, of sureness, right, authoritative voice, that's what people are looking for. And they really don't care much about, even if they're aware of the little nuances behind the scenes.
We're speaking with Dakota Wood. I want to bring up one of the, you use the term Hezbollah. This is something that I understand a little bit more, maybe at like a C- level, because I've spent the last days just trying to soak up as much as I can.
Right.
But Americans are going about their lives. They're trying to live their lives. They're trying to put food on the table. And they know that this is a big issue. It's penetrated the conscience of many Americans more than most news stories do. But there are a few things that I think can happen that will take this conflict to the next level. And I know Hezbollah is to be one of them. I was hoping that maybe you could briefly explain some of those things that Americans could see, okay, this happened. Now we are in a whole different scenario than maybe the initial Hamas coming into Israel over the weekend.
Yeah, so as an example, people have probably read or heard about Iron Dome, which is an anti-missile defense system that Israel has. It'll track an incoming rocket or missile into Israel from southern Lebanon or from the West Bank or from the Gaza Strip. And the radars will calculate where that thing might land. If it's going to land in the desert someplace, no action is taken. If it's heading for a shopping center or an urban area, then this anti-missile defense system will fire a missile and it intercepts the missile in the air, preserving life and safety there on the ground. It's a few hundred to a few $1,000s for one of those missiles used by Hezbollah or Hamas. Each missile that Israel fires in defense is $80,000. That's how sophisticated and how expensive this system is. Now, the reason I bring that up is Hezbollah has accumulated 150,000 or 180,000 rockets and missiles of various types. So just the salvo density, the barrage, you only need a few of them to get through these defensive nets that Israel is able to put up. And so as these missiles come raining in on various towns and villages and cities in Israel, it creates all kinds of havoc. That's why most Israelis have a bomb shelter or a safe room in their house. The only places we see that here in the United States is kind of where I grew up in the Middle East, in the Midwest, where you were concerned about, tornadoes, or on the Gulf Coast, where hurricanes might come in. But this is a daily way of living for Israelis. Some years ago, I was having dinner with a Jewish family. It was a colonel in the Israeli Defense Force, and they had me over for their Sabbath meal. It was wonderful. And some of the kids were talking about how they went back and forth to school, that their school was across town around Jerusalem, and the bus would go down a highway. The highway had high walls on either side to protect passersby, these school buses carrying kids, from mortars and rockets going over the top. And so you would talk to the kids, well, why would you want to keep taking this dangerous bus ride? Well, that's where our friends are at. We want to go to school. But this is daily living for them. And it's something that it just doesn't resonate with us here in the United States because we're so protected from big oceans and, Canada to our north, and for all the mayhem of cartels down south, we're not worried about Mexico trying to invade Texas.
Yeah. A couple of things I Googled, like super basic level, trying to get an understanding of what's going on. Israel is a little bit smaller than New Jersey. I think it was the Gaza Strip is about the size of double Washington, D.C. So when we think about that in the context, we think about our country. We have such a large geographical footprint that the conflict over there, it's like it'd be as if the United States, were fighting amongst themselves over specific territory. The last question that I want to ask you before we have to run to the president is Iran's role in this. I'd have about 60 seconds left. I think that's the big question that everybody is leaning in to find the answer to.
Nobody debates the fact that Iran has supported terrorist organizations of all types, both Shia and Sunni, for decades. That's just how they go about business. So for anyone to say that, well, maybe Iran wasn't directly behind this particular attack by Hamas in Israel is missing the point or intentionally ignoring the point that Iran enables, they train, they support politically and morally and spiritually, within their religion, and they provide all the weapons that these organizations are using. So Hamas doesn't produce microwaves or refrigerators. They don't have a manufacturing facility to make Kalashnikov rifles. They get this from somewhere, and it all comes from Iran.
All right. Well, we will be watching this closely. And Dakota, your voice is we're so appreciative of your time today. I know you're a busy man, and we thank you for talking to us about this. There's going to be a lot to talk about in the future. We'll hope to have you back.
Absolutely. God bless. Thanks.
Yes, God bless you as well. Senior Research Fellow for Defense Programs at the Heritage Foundation, Dakota Wood. So we are tiptoeing right now around the president of the United States, who's supposed to be making remarks on Israel. You're supposed to make them at noon. We don't know when it's going to happen. Brad's waiting for a 2-minute warning. We're scheduled to have Bret Baier on the show at 1:25, a really big guest for the show that we're very excited to have on. We will take the president, should the president speak, but I'm going to call an audible here. Let's get to a break.
Okay.
Let's play a couple, let's get through a little bit of a commercial break here so we can get back with Bret Baier. And that will likely be when the president starts to speak. That's just the way these things go, but we will bring the news to you as it happens. We will prioritize, of course, the president's words on the atrocities that are taking place in Israel and the American response. Don't go anywhere. You're right here in the right place on 97.1 FM Talk.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Slim180, myslim180.com. If you've been thinking about losing weight and you've heard about the semaglutide, you've heard about the tirzepatide, they are available for you at Slim180 for a fraction of the price of what you would go pay at the pharmacy. So if you've been trying to figure out how to get to, that type of weight loss opportunity, you can sit down with the people at myslim180.com and you can talk to them about how this might be a solution for you. They're there to help guide you through the whole process. And when you reach out to Slim180, you can register online for a free consultation at myslim180.com and get $25 off an appointment. Mention Annie, mention my name. I love the opportunities to help you save money, especially on getting healthy, dropping the weight, losing up to 20 pounds in as little as 6 weeks so you can look your best in those holiday photos. Mention Annie and get 20% off the nutritional guidance program, the Crave program, or the Regenerate weight loss program. Also, one of my favorite things about them is they accept FSA and HSA insurance programs. So if you've got the money saved and stored, use it on investing in yourself. Get healthy, lose the weight, but do it with Slim180. They are there to help you, and they are going to walk you through the whole process. They've helped me. They'll help you as well. myslim180.com. You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gsLHonorFlight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Your garage door is always there for you, rain or shine. Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it screeching and whining for attention? Trust Overhead Door Company of St. Louis to keep your garage door reliable. Maybe the old weather stripping needs replaced to keep out the cold and hot air. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, trusted here since 1926. For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorstlouis.com.
Hi, this is Andy Berg, board-certified master arborist with Hanson's Tree Service. Leaving your ash trees unprotected from the emerald ash borer may lead to an unforeseen rapid decline in their health. Go to hansonstree.com to find out how we can service your trees today.
How fickle my heart and how woozy my eyes. I struggle to find any truth in your lies. And now my heart stumbles on things I don't know. My weakness I feel I must finally show. Lend me your hand and we'll conquer them all. But lend me your heart and I'll just let you fall. Lend me your eyes, I can change what you see. But your soul you must keep totally free.
Israel is at war. We didn't want this war. It was forced upon us in the most brutal and savage way. But though Israel didn't start this war, Israel will finish it. Once the Jewish people were stateless. Once the Jewish people were defenseless. No longer. Hamas will understand that by attacking us, they've made a mistake of historic proportions. We will exact a price that will be remembered by them and Israel's other enemies for decades to come.
Breaking news.
We are listening now as the President of the United States takes the podium to speak in remarks to the events this weekend that have continued in Israel. Let's listen in to the President of the United States.
I mean this literally, when the pure, unadulterated evil is unleashed on this world. The people of Israel lived through one such moment this weekend. The bloody hands of the terrorist organization Hamas, a group whose stated purpose for being is to kill Jews. This was an act of sheer evil. More than 1,000 civilians slaughtered, not just killed, slaughtered in Israel. Among them, at least 14 American citizens killed. Parents butchered using their bodies to try to protect their children. Stomach-turning reports of babies being killed. Entire families slain. Young people massacred while attending a musical festival to celebrate peace. To celebrate peace. Women raped, assaulted, paraded as trophies. Families hid their fear for hours and hours, desperately trying to keep their children quiet to avoid drawing attention. And thousands of wounded, alive but carrying with them the bullet holes and the shrapnel wounds and the memory of what they endured. You all know these traumas never go away. There's still so many families desperately waiting to hear the fate of their loved ones, not knowing if they're alive or dead or hostages. Infants in their mother's arms, grandparents in wheelchairs, Holocaust survivors abducted and held hostage. Hostages whom Hamas has now threatened to execute in violation of every code of human morality. It's abhorrent. The brutality of Hamas, these bloodthirstiness brings to mind the worst rampages of ISIS. This is terrorism. But sadly, for the Jewish people, it's not new. This attack has brought to the surface painful memories and the scars left by a millennia of anti-Semitism and genocide of the Jewish people. So in this moment, we must be crystal clear. We stand with Israel. We stand with Israel. And we will make sure Israel has what it needs to take care of its citizens, defend itself, and respond to this attack. There's no justification for terrorism. There's no excuse. Hamas does not stand for the Palestinian people's right to dignity and self-determination. Its stated purpose is the annihilation of the state of Israel and the murder of Jewish people. They use Palestinian civilians as human shields. Hamas offers nothing but terror and bloodshed with no regard to who pays the price. The loss of innocent life is heartbreaking. Like every nation in the world, Israel has the right to respond, indeed has a duty to respond to these vicious attacks. I just got off the phone with a third call with Prime Minister Netanyahu, and I told him, the United States experience what Israel is experiencing, our response would be swift, decisive, and overwhelming. We also discussed how democracies like Israel and the United States are stronger and more secure when we act according to the rule of law. Terrorists purposely target civilians, kill them. We uphold the laws of war, the law of war. It matters. There's a difference. Today, Americans across the country are praying for all those families that have been ripped apart. A lot of us know how it feels. It leaves a black hole in your chest when you lose family. feeling like you're being sucked in. The anger, the pain, the sense of hopelessness. This is what they mean by a human tragedy, an atrocity on an appalling scale. But we're going to continue to stand united, supporting the people of Israel who are suffering unspeakable losses and opposing the hatred and violence of terrorism. My team has been in near constant communication with our Israeli partners and partners all across the region and the world from the moment this crisis began. We're surging additional military assistance, including ammunition and interceptors, to replenish Iron Dome. We're going to make sure that Israel does not run out of these critical assets to defend its cities and its citizens. My administration has consulted closely with Congress throughout this crisis. And when Congress returns, we're going to ask them to take urgent action to fund the national security requirements of our critical partners. This is not about party or politics. This is about the security of our world, the security of the United States of America. We now know that American citizens are among those being held by Hamas. I've directed my team to share intelligence and deploy additional experts from across the United States government to consult with and advise Israeli counterparts on hostage recovery efforts. Because as president, I have no higher priority than the safety of Americans being held hostage around the world. The United States has also enhanced our military force posture in the region to strengthen our deterrence. The Department of Defense has moved the USS Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group to the Eastern Mediterranean and bolstered our fighter aircraft presence. And we stand ready to move in additional assets as needed. Let me say again, to any country, any organization, anyone thinking of taking advantage of this situation, I have one word: don't. Don't. Our hearts may be broken, but our resolve is clear. Yesterday, I also spoke with the leaders of France, Germany, Italy, and UK to discuss the latest developments with our European allies and coordinate our united response. This comes on top of days of steady engagement with partners across the region. We're also taking steps at home. In cities across the United States of America, police departments have stepped up. Security around centers of Jewish life. The Department of Homeland Security and the Federal Bureau of Investigation are working closely with state and local law enforcement and Jewish community partners to identify and disrupt any domestic threat that could emerge in connection with these horrific attacks. This is a moment for the United States to come together, to grieve with those who are mourning. Let's be real clear. There is no place for hate in America. Not against Jews, not against Muslims, not against anybody. What we reject is terrorism. We condemn the indiscriminate evil, just as we've always done. That's what America stands for. You know, just over 50 years ago, I was thinking about it this morning, talking to the Secretary of State, the Vice President in my office. Over 50 years ago, as a young senator, I visited Israel for the first time as a newly elected senator. And I had a long, long trip, a meeting with Golda Meir in her office just before the Yom Kippur War. And I guess she could see the consternation on my face as she described what was being faced, they were facing. We walked outside in that sort of hallway outside her office to have some photos. She looked at me all of a sudden and said, "Would you like to have a photograph?" And so I got up and followed her out. We were standing there silent, looking at the press. She could tell, I guess, I was concerned. She leaned over and whispered to me, she said, "Don't worry, Senator Biden. We have a secret rep in here in Israel." My word is what she said. We have no place else to go. We have no place else to go. For 75 years, Israel has stood as the ultimate guarantor of the security of Jewish people around the world, so that the atrocities of the past could never happen again. And let there be no doubt, the United States has Israel's back. We will make sure the Jewish and democratic state of Israel can defend itself today, tomorrow, as we always have. It's as simple as that. These atrocities have been sickening. We're with Israel. Let's make no mistake. Thank you.
Mr. President, what was your reaction?
The President of the United States speaking from the White House podium. He's flanked on one side by Kamala Harris, the other side by Secretary Antony Blinken. And that's what you've been listening to here. It's something to listen to his words. You got it. There's two thoughts that I have about the things that the president just said there. And in short, before we go to a break here, the first is that I think that the statement as a whole was a strong statement that articulates exactly the support for Israel that America needs to show right now. And the second part is, where's that been? When you, President Biden, say that there are people who may be thinking of taking advantage of the situation, and your word is don't, it's pretty hard to hear as an American citizen watching what's happening to this country right now and knowing that President Biden's policies have put the United States and the world in this perilous time that we're in right now. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll share our thoughts on it and read some of the comments as well from y'all on the Annie Frey YouTube live chat. We've got a lot of people there. Hello to the new people who are on the YouTube live chat. Make sure you vote in the poll while you were there. The question is, will this war come to America? It's a yes or no question. And as always, we really like to know why you vote the way you do. So you leave your comments. We're setting those comments aside. I'll feature some of those when we come back. We'll give the results of what you all believe about whether or not this war will come to America at 2:45. Stick around. We'll be right back.
We will die, and the Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
When you were looking for flooring, I want you to check out Michael's Flooring Outlet. It's important to shop local because this is how you support your neighbors. And, you know, there's people who are working in those locally owned and operated stores that are also your neighbors, of course. But you get a little extra something when you shop with those local family-owned and operated businesses like Michael's Flooring Outlet. When you go to igotfloor.com, that's the website you could check out right now, and you can request an estimate by logging on to igotfloor.com. You're also going to be committing yourself to the best customer sales experience in the flooring business in the St. Louis area. You can talk to them about your budget. You can talk to them about your expectations. They're going to help make those two things intersect at just the right point for you, where you get the quality that you expect, the hard-earned money that you are going to invest in this new flooring purchase. They are going to respect that and give you a quality product that you are going to understand the value of. They have been doing this in St. Louis for decades and decades, and you could be their next customer, maybe a repeat customer, because they sure have a lot of those. People trust the family-owned and operated Michael's Flooring Outlet. I encourage you to let them earn your business as well. Find them online at igotfloor.com.
Are your health insurance premiums making you sick? Did you go with one of those high-deductible, limited network Obamacare plans? Well, you're not stuck with it. Or did you go with a plan outside the marketplace that's costing you an arm and a leg? There are better options. Kim Kiefer at H&L Agency offer plans where you only meet a deductible if you go into a hospital. You pick your doctors, and it's 30 to 60% lower than most other plans. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, you need to talk to an expert. Call Kim at 800-975-2841. That's 800-975-2841. Or go to hnlagency.org. And is spelled out. That's HandLagency.org. HandLagency.org. A quality plan managed by you, not the government.
Hey, Bernie Federico here. Over the years, you've heard me talk about lakeside renovation and design. My friends Matt and Dan have been in the business for over 25 years and have done everything on my home, from James Hardy siding, Infinity from Marvin Windows, and even a couple of room additions. These guys are great, and you can trust them with your home. Check out their website to see for yourself all the beautiful work they've done. You can find them online at lakesidrenovationanddesign.com. Be sure to ask about their unbelievable financing options. Lakeside Renovation and Design.
Hey, it's Bo Matthews, and Missouri Brush Control is helping landowners reclaim their property with forestry mulching. If invasive plants and trees have overtaken your land, Missouri Brush Control will mulch vegetation where it stands with specialized equipment that is efficient and eco-friendly. Selective land clearing like this can help you maximize your property's value. Enjoy your land like you've always dreamed of. Check out our website or Facebook page for before and after photos and videos of our projects. Learn more at MissouriBrushControl.com. That's MissouriBrushControl.com.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com. Mark Cox here. Selecting the right real estate agent to sell your home is the single most important factor when selling a house. Imagine needing heart surgery. Would you choose a surgeon who performs hundreds of successful surgeries a year, or one with minimal experience and mediocre success rates? Selling your home is like doing open heart surgery on your finances. That's why I recommend you call Gloria Liu with your home sold guaranteed realty and get to know her like I have. Gloria will give you multiple selling options when selling your home. For 20 years, she's been helping home sellers just like you get the most money for their home. Listen, experience, a proven track record, and guarantees matter when you're relying on an agent to get you the most money in the least amount of time. Selling your home, there's only one call you should make. Call Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Israel is now at war. Will this war come to America? That is the subject of today's Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. Will this war come to America? Yes or no? Let us know what you think, and we will read the results of that poll at the end of the show today. We'll be monitoring it throughout the show, so leave us a comment as well. It's 1:43 right now. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
And he knows it's gone.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Can't wait for another tearing his soul. He screams inside, he says, I'm only, while I've gone away, only, every single day lonely. Well, I can't be so strong, why don't you let me go? I've been in weakness and I'm hungry, that's why I've gone away only, every single day lonely. Well, I can't run away, why don't you let me go? Say I know.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We're grateful that you're here with us this afternoon. It's been quite a packed show so far. Congressman Mike Bost joined us at 12:25 and gave us his thoughts specifically on the war raging in Israel right now. His thoughts as a congressman, a military member as well, service member. But he also talked to us about the Speaker of the House and how that process is unfolding. He talked about a meeting that they had last night, a meeting that they're having today, and what they hope to be is a unified vote tomorrow, which we will be covering live here on the Annie Frey Show as all of that unfolds. And so I want you to be able to check the Annie Frey Show podcast for Congressman Bost conversation. We spoke with Dakota Wood at 105, and he really laid out for us some of the things that are militaristically facing Israel, facing the Middle East region as a whole, the different players that are involved, and truly the barbaric nature of the people who are fighting for Hamas and these terrorists, how truly barbaric they can actually be. It boggles the mind. It's not something that I've been able to wrap my mind around, and I'm going to not try because I don't want to understand this depravity. It's incredibly evil, and it is real. We had Bret Baier scheduled for 1:25, but the President of the United States was scheduled to speak at noon, and he decided to talk right when we were supposed to speak with Bret Baier. So, Brad, your understanding is we're going to try to reschedule him for tomorrow.
We're working on trying to reschedule him for tomorrow. So we hope to have him on, and we will work to do that. One of the things I wanted to talk to Bret Baier about, we were going to discuss his book with him, but we were also going to talk to him about Israel. We were going to talk to him about the political climate that we are in this country right now. His book is called To Rescue the Constitution, and it's George Washington and the Fragile American Experiment. And I don't think that there's more appropriate time right now than to talk about the idea of this fragile American experiment and the idea that it is a republic if you can keep it, so says Benjamin Franklin. And the idea that when you look at what's taking place in Israel, it's a very different existence than what we know in the United States of America. There are a lot of geographical complications to that actual soil that exists there, of course, is in conflict and has been from basically the beginning of time. But what we enjoy here in the United States of America and the blessings of the system that we have set up for ourselves in the United States of America allow us to have an unprecedented success with our country. And you look at the President of the United States, his policy, his administration, and it seems to fly in the face of the things that actually made us successful in the first place. Listening to President Biden speaking there, and I'm curious to hear a lot of what you guys have to say about the poll question, which if you go to the Annie Frey YouTube live chat right now, you can vote in the live chat poll. Will this war come to America, yes or no? Brad, if you could keep starring these comments as they come in. Go on there right now and comment what it is that you think about the yes or no response to will this war come to America. So I want you to listen here to a couple of people who have responded so far. Quick Rick says, I certainly fear the possibility of what terrorists among us may be planning, and the open door policy of the Biden administration has only exacerbated the issue. You can't negotiate with a terrorist. Larry says, it might not be this war, but attacks are coming to this country and fought in this country. The open border has let in an army in and spread throughout the country. It's just a matter of time. Kurt says, yes, we will have to give aid to Israel, and the terrorists who are already in this country will retaliate. STL says we already are in World War III. Sheepdog says, my answer is yes, not because I think we have a full-on invasion, but I'm sure there have been Hamas terrorists coming across the southern border. The fuse has been lit. Dirk said he voted yes. With the border how it is, I think it's inevitable. You see a consistency here in concern of what Americans are worried about right now. And if you don't think that the Biden policies are a direct cause of this effect, then you're not paying attention. Anybody who is sitting around right now just wringing their hands over how awful of a human being Donald Trump is not paying attention. It is quite something to see the decadence of the progressive left, the causes with which they aggressively, oppressively support in this country. When they hop from, like Frogger, from cause to cause to cause, all unified under the Joe Biden party, the Democrats. He was supposed to be a moderate. Remember that? He was supposed to be a uniter. You remember that? Do you feel more united now than you did when Donald Trump was president? Of course you don't. If you hated them before, you hate them even more. And I'm not even defining who the they and the them is. Watching pro-LGBTQ protests in the street celebrating what Hamas did is the most ignorant display of stupidity that I can think of. It is very clear that in our country today, our political system today, there is one factor that determines everything else that comes after it, and it is Donald Trump. The idea that Donald Trump and what he stands for, which is Republican, conservative values to whatever extent, the people on the left first find out on any particular issue, where is Donald Trump on this? And then they know where they are because they are just the opposite. And then what they find out and are finding out right now that a lot of the things that they are in favor of, because they're the exact opposite of what Donald Trump is in favor of, those things are dramatically in conflict with one another. They cannot coexist, to use a word, at the same time. And they're not intellectual enough in their pursuit of what they stand for, because the only thing that matters at the end of the day is that you get Trump. It is a disease. It is a sickness. And the 2024 election is likely going to hinge on that question, Trump or no. And I am incredibly fearful of what happens if we get 2024 wrong. The stakes are incredibly too high. I played this clip earlier in the show, but I'm going to play it again because I think Greg Gutfeld is spot on. The stakes are too high for any more of this goofiness that the political climate has entertained. It is an entertainment industry. We cannot afford it any longer.
Imagine if our intel agencies had focused not on parents and Catholic churches, but maybe on this other stuff, these people that are on the street right now. Who knows? We no longer have the luxury of a non-president. We no longer have the luxury of to have a non-border.
We don't have that luxury anymore. The stakes are beyond too high. Is the open border the problem? Because I'm seeing comment after comment after comment pointing back to the southern border as really, on our home soil, the biggest fear that we have. What have we done? Everybody knows that this problem exists. Even J.B. Pritzker knows that this problem exists, but his solution is only one that is politically beneficial.
I am confident that we can handle it, but again, it will require help from the federal government, and someone needs to work in Texas with these border politicians to have them stop sending people only to blue cities and blue states. And the President of the United States and the White House has the ability to help disperse folks across the country. That will help a lot.
Well, he's dumb every time I hear him talk, and that was dumb also. Listening to J.B. Pritzker talk about the influx of migrants to his blue city, as if the only thing that is wrong there is that they went to the blue city and not the red city. Well, you're the shining city of the entire state in Chicago there, aren't you? Isn't Chicago the sanctuary city? Isn't that the bastion of hope and openness that you wanted to campaign over and over and over on? Because if you can campaign on that, then you can campaign about how the other people on the other side of the aisle are hateful and close-minded and don't like people who don't look like them. That's the political conversation happening around a porous southern border right now that has military-aged men lined up as far as the eye can see. They're coming into this country, and we don't even know how many it is that are possibly here. We've caught some. You think we've caught them all? You think we're batting 1,000 on that? Of course we aren't. J.B. Pritzker is willing to go far enough to get credit for saying we need to do something about this problem. His problem that he identifies, remember, we cannot collectively solve problems. We cannot collectively come up with solutions to problems when we don't agree on what the actual problem is. His problem is not that they're coming from third world countries into the United States. His problem is that once they get here, they shouldn't all just go to blue cities. Well, Texas is one hell of a big red state. So we're not even probably close to evening out the blue state of Illinois with absorbing the amount of people that the red state of Texas has had to do. And if all this is coming down to the idea of a blue state and a red state, a blue city and a red city, if that's all it is to J.B. Pritzker, you sure as heck don't want him as your president of the United States. You certainly don't want him as your governor either. But when you have Scrooge McDuck gold doubloons to spend on every political campaign that you want to make sure that you can win and secure your political power, and you can desecrate cities all across your good state with your stupid, bad policies, and then when it comes time to try to go on the national scene and make a statement about what the problem is, you get enough of the credit to say, you know what, we do have a problem here. But what is the problem? It's the red state down south. Voters, we have to be smarter. Taxpayers, we have to be judicious. We have to start thinking a lot longer and a lot harder about who we talk to and how we talk to them about getting involved in political decisions, about why it is you vote the way it is. And if it's Donald Trump at the end of the conversation, stop avoiding having it with people and have it in a loving way. Sit down and ask people questions and listen to their answers. Because if J.B. Pritzker is saying that, that means the people in Chicago don't like what's going on there. If J.B. Pritzker is out there in the open making that kind of a statement, that means that the pressure is big enough, hard enough, full enough against J.B. Pritzker that he has to say something. And he's only willing to go far enough that he doesn't feel he'll have any political fallout for doing it. Talk to your friends. Listen to them. Don't bring up Trump. Talk about policies. Talk about parties. We have to start having these conversations because that YouTube live chat poll, will this war come to America? That yes or no might hinge on enough people having conversations that they didn't want to have before to stop this war from coming to America. We'll be right back.
Why don't you stick around, wind your windows down, 'cause it's a hard
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
Window World at 314-993-1800. Waiting your phone call so you can replace those drafty windows in your house. And I feel like you would be able to tell that, of course, in the summertime when it's really super hot outside. You go past the windows, it's warmer there, but you can definitely tell it in the winter time when those drafty windows, if you're heating your house and you go past, there's always that cool air about those windows that aren't insulated the way they're supposed to be any longer. Call Window World. They are simply the best for less because you've probably been putting it off just like we all are because you don't want to pay that bill. You don't want to have that expense, but you know you can't put it off much longer. They give a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor when you purchase a Window World window, and they are there to help you walk through the whole process. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. Reach out to them at 314-993-1800, 314-993-1800 for a free in-home estimate. Mention the Annie Frey Show when you call windowworld.com.
Are you ready to smell better naked? I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, the OBGYN creator of Lumi, the whole body deodorant that's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours on pits, feet, privates, and beyond. It's pH optimized to safely and effectively control odor anywhere you have it, but wish you didn't. Plus, it's proven to work better than a shower with soap alone. Whether you shower twice a day or 3 times a week, Lumi works better. And did we mention it's aluminum free? With over 200,000 5-star reviews, I'm so sure you're going to love it, or you can return it for free.
There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 500 and get an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack that comes with a solid stick, cream tube, free product of your choice, and ships free with code 500. LumeDeodorant.com, code 500 for an extra $5 off a Lumi starter pack. Love it or return it for free. That's LUME deodorant.com, code 500.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is a Fox News alert. The president speaks out on the attacks on Israel. I'm Matt Napolitano, Fox News.
This was an act of sheer evil.
President Biden speaking from the White House this afternoon. At least 1,600 people killed in Israel, including at least 14 Americans, while fighting intensifies between Israeli forces and Hamas militants.
So in this moment, we must be crystal clear. We stand with Israel. We stand with Israel.
The president affirming that message to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on a phone call before his address, going on to call out Hamas for the attacks.
Hamas does not stand for the Palestinian people's right to dignity and self-determination. Its stated purpose is the annihilation of the state of Israel and the murder of Jewish people. They use Palestinian civilians as human shields. Hamas offers nothing but terror and bloodshed with no regard to who pays the price.
President Biden also promising additional military assistance, including ammunition and interceptors to replenish Israel's Iron Dome system. The president says he will call on Congress to take urgent action to provide funding to critical partners. This as House Republicans still have to work out who the chamber's new speaker will be.
There is talk of an aid package for Israel and at the very least a resolution denouncing Hamas. But some lawmakers worry about combining aid for Israel with money for Ukraine and even disaster assistance for Maui. Now, Jim Jordan appears to have the most public support. Some Jordan backers worry about the well-being of Majority Leader Steve Scalise. Now, the earliest the House could vote is Wednesday.
Fox's Chad Pergram on Capitol Hill. Heading into the last hour of the trading day on Wall Street, the Dow is up 139 points, S&P is up 31, and the Nasdaq gaining 99. America's listening to Fox News.
Hi, I'm Martha Stewart. Every year, more than 4 million pets enter shelters here in the United States. My friends at American Humane have been helping animals since 1877. The goal is to ensure that pets have a safe shelter, especially during natural disasters. Adopting a shelter pet allows shelters to help more animals awaiting care. Please consider adopting today and take some time to learn more about American Humane's other work at americanhumane.org.
Oh, this cold.
Honey?
Honey?
Honey, you need DayQuil Severe Honey.
DayQuil Severe Honey gives you powerful cold and flu symptom relief with a honeylicious taste, because life doesn't stop for a cold.
Okay, I'm ready to go.
Now I'm getting a cold.
Honey.
Try DayQuil Severe Honey for powerful cold and flu relief. DayQuil Severe with honey flavor. The daytime coughing, aching, stuffy head, fever, honeylicious, power through your day medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Delightful today, sunny and 72 later on this afternoon. Tonight, partly cloudy, 48. Wednesday, a mix of clouds and sunshine. Couple of showers and thunder showers around, but no all-day rain, 78. Thursday, partly sunny, nothing more than a spot shower. Think Thursday primarily dry, 78 degrees. Friday looks wet, especially Friday afternoon and Friday night. High temperatures 72. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Retirement Advisory Group, Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, and Tammy Kershaw, they are waiting for your phone call to sit down and have a free conversation with no obligation. You listen to them, you walk away when you're done. If you're not interested, many people, of course, are interested in having a worry-free retirement, and Thomas Helbig is there to help. I met a couple who, at the last seminar that we had, who was there to talk about Thomas Helbig, and they were just glowing with the review and so grateful to have been connected with Thomas Helbig. I think they said for over decades, possibly. I mean, they were elderly, but they had been with Thomas Helbig for quite some time, and you know, they said he's done very well for us. There are a lot of people in the Annie Frey Show audience and the 97.1 audience who know that Thomas Helbig is the key to that worry-free retirement. When you get to your late 50s or in your 60s and retirement is there, or if you have newly retired, you call him at 314-993-9494. Sit down and talk to him. It doesn't cost you anything, and it could save you a whole lot. 314-993-9494. You can find him online at retirementkey.com.
Well, there's a very good chance as you've driven down your street, you have admired houses in your neighborhood that have been covered in Rhino Shield. And You don't even know it, except if you pay close attention, you'll notice that they're not being repainted every couple of years. What I mean is same bright, vivid colors that you would choose with regular paint, except that Rhino Shield lasts, and you're going to get a 25-year warranty with it. I've got it on my house, and I mean it. It looks like it did the day they put it on. It lasts and lasts. It's lab tested to last that long against chipping or peeling or cracking. And they put this on businesses as well. Condo units from Springfield, Illinois, all the way down to the Lake of the Ozarks. You can find it. And my friend Darren will be happy to come over and give you a free evaluation of your home. All you have to do is call him. Tell him you heard Mark Cox talking about it. 877-25-RHINO or online at 877-25rhino.com.
How would you like to make no mortgage payments until next year? Are you tired of making minimum payments on high-interest credit cards? Is student loan repayment giving you the blues? Your home equity is at an all-time high. Use that equity to save hundreds every month. Call 314-567-GOLD now and give yourself a payment break. That's 314-567-GOLD. Or visit goldenoaklending.com. NMLS 114937.
Some parts need the gentle, easy trim of a Gillette trimmer, and some need the closeness and comfort of Gillette Intimate Razor, while others need a Gillette Anti-Chafe Stick. Gillette Intimate, the best a man can get. Buy now.
It looks like wood, it feels like wood, but it's maintenance-free. It's luxurious James Hardie siding. And during Banner Construction's 30th anniversary, get same-as-cash financing on James Hardie and Pella windows. And have a banner day.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Now, who could imagine a war, right? With people pouring into our country and we have no idea from where they come. The same people, in many cases, the same people that just attacked Israel. You know that, right? Can you imagine what this guy has done to us, what he's done to us? That would have never happened. The attack on Israel would never, ever have happened. The attack on Ukraine would never have happened.
So former President Trump, they're talking about if Biden weren't president, that none of this would have happened. I think there's a lot of people who believe that. I am one of them. I don't think we would be where we are right now if America were not perceived as incredibly weak. And we have shown ourselves to be incredibly weak. We listened to the President of the United States. He started speaking at about 1:25 this afternoon. We carried that live. Jake Sullivan is speaking now, and he's about to take questions from the White House podium. Let's just kind of Mystery Science Theater listen to this right now into what he has to say. I think he's about to take questions.
Let me be clear. We did not move the carrier for Hamas. We moved the carrier to send a clear message of deterrence to other states or non-state actors that might seek to widen this war. The President has also tasked us with engaging in contingency planning for any and all escalation scenarios, and we are now deeply engaged in that planning, and we are consulting with allies and partners as well about all of the potential scenarios that might unfold in the days ahead. Let me repeat what we've now said many times and what the President said just a short while ago, so that everyone, including enemies who are thinking of exploiting the current situation, hear it loud and clear. The United States has always and will always have Israel's back. And to those families undergoing the unfathomable pain of having loved ones missing, our hearts go out to you. We cannot imagine the anguish you must be feeling right now. We know that U.S. citizens are among the missing, and we know that U.S. citizens, as the President just said, are among the hostages. We are working with the Israeli government and with our regional partners on every aspect of the hostage crisis, including sharing intelligence and deploying experts from across the U.S. government to advise the Israeli government and coordinate with them on hostage recovery efforts. As the President just said, there is no higher priority than the safety and well-being of American citizens being held hostage overseas. Over the coming days, we'll continue to stand strongly with Israel to ensure that it is able to defend itself. And my team and I are working with our colleagues across the U.S. government every hour to keep the President updated on the latest developments, to take his direction and put it into action, and we'll continue following his direction to provide Israel and the people of Israel all the support required at this time of need. And with that, I'd be happy to take your questions. Yeah.
Jake, thank you.
We'll do you first and then.
Thank you, Jake.
Yeah, go ahead.
On the American hostages, can you first of all tell us how many? Are we talking about several or a dozen hostages? And do you know anything about their condition at all?
We do not know about their condition, and we cannot confirm a precise number of American citizens. We believe that there are 20 or more Americans who at this point are missing, but I want to underscore and stress that does not mean necessarily that there are 20 or more American hostages. Just that is the number who are currently unaccounted for. We will work hour by hour, both to determine whether we can account for any of those Americans or to confirm exactly what the number of Americans are being held hostage, and we will come back to you with that information as soon as we have it. As you know, very sadly and tragically, the number of dead has risen with each passing hour, and that's true of the total number. It's also true of Americans, which has gone up just today from an earlier report this morning of 12, then 13, now 14. So I cannot give you a precise number. I can tell you that number of unaccounted for at this time. That number could change too, but I want to underscore that that is not a statement from me that we have that many hostages. We do not know the number of hostages we have at this time.
And did the President discuss with the Prime Minister the possibility of a ground incursion into Gaza, and also how that might affect the American hostages that are in Gaza that are now confirmed?
I'm not going to get into the operational discussions that the President and the Prime Minister had. That is important for them to be able to keep in a discrete channel between them. What I will tell you is that the President and Prime Minister did discuss how the United States can deploy expertise to help work on the hostage recovery efforts. That is what the United States is in the process of doing right now. Steve.
Under what circumstances would you put American forces on the ground to help out?
At this point, that is not something that is under planning. What we are focused on when we talk about sending experts, it is people who can work on intelligence, who can work on overall planning, who can work on coordination with the Israeli government. We are not currently sending forces to Israel, and I'll leave it at that for now. Yeah.
Has the President spoken to any of the families of the 14 American citizens who were killed?
He has not yet spoken with the families, but the State Department has been in contact with those families, and the President has been making this his highest priority as he receives briefings each day about what we are doing to try to determine both what's happening with the missing and also to ensure that we can secure the bodies of those who have perished and ensure that they get returned to their loved ones.
Are you also reaching out to those whose loved ones may be unaccounted for? One family member of a missing American said that there's been no formal attempt by the U.S. government to update the families.
We have, in fact, updated the families of the unaccounted for Americans that we know of. If there are Americans for some reason who have not yet been reached out to, that will be remedied immediately because Secretary Blinken, President Biden, everybody in the U.S. government is making this the highest priority. So we are in very regular contact with every family who has someone either missing or unaccounted for, and anyone who's not currently on that list for whatever reason, we will take care of that. That is going to be our highest priority. Yeah.
Thanks, Jake. Two quick questions, one for clarity. The Iron Dome replenishment, has it already arrived or is it on its way?
Some of the interceptors have come out of stocks that the U.S. had in country. So those have gone over to the Israelis in short order, and then we will be flowing in additional Iron Dome interceptors so that they have the capabilities they need to sustain their Iron Dome defense systems. We are also looking at other ways that we can help augment their air defense capabilities as well as we look ahead, not just to what's happening now, but to potential contingencies that could unfold.
And then secondly, what can you say about Iran's role in the Hamas attack? And is that one of the actors you were worried about widening the war?
Look, we've said since the beginning that Iran is complicit in this attack in a broad sense because they have provided the lion's share of the funding for the military wing of Hamas. They have provided training, they have provided capabilities, they have provided support, and they have had engagement and contact with Hamas over years and years. And all of that has played a role in contributing to what we have seen. Now, as to the question of whether Iran knew about this attack in advance or helped plan or direct this attack, we do not, as of the moment I'm standing here at the podium, have confirmation of that. We are talking to our Israeli counterparts on a daily basis about this question. We're looking back through our intelligence holdings to see if we have any further information on that. We're looking to acquire further intelligence. And if there's an update to that, I'll share it with you. But as I stand here today, while Iran plays this broad role, sustained, deep, and dark role in providing all of this support and capabilities to Hamas in terms of this particular gruesome attack on October 7th, we don't currently have that information. We will continue to look for it, and if we find it, we will share that with you. Yeah.
Thank you, Jake. Looking back at the last few days, how did Israel miss this attack coming?
That's a question for you to ask the Israeli government. Obviously, the Israeli government has placed a high premium on its intelligence capacity as it relates to Hamas, as it relates to the West Bank, as it relates to Hezbollah, and why it is that they did not have warning from this is not a question that I can answer from this podium.
What about U.S. intelligence? Was there anything in what crosses your desk that would suggest that this was coming?
We did not see anything that suggested an attack of this type was going to unfold any more than the Israelis did.
And in your meeting in the Situation Room today, we saw an image earlier. At some point, undoubtedly in the last few days, the president has seen the images of the dead Israelis. What has been his reaction when shown those images?
I mean, you've seen him now twice. You've heard his voice. And this has been a deeply emotional time for all of us, as I'm sure it is for many people in this room who know people or know people who were killed or who are missing. And all of us have developed close relationships with our Israeli counterparts. President Biden has a decades-long relationship with Prime Minister Netanyahu, and he can hear the pain in Prime Minister Netanyahu's voice when he talks to him. I hear the pain of my counterparts when I talk to them. So this is not just about policy or strategy. This is personal for us, and it's personal for the American people with their bonds with the Israeli people. And so President Biden has seen and felt the deep emotional resonance of this, but he has also held the conviction that his job as president is to make sure that he has the clarity of mind and purpose to take the actions necessary so that we are standing with Israel in its hour of need, so that we are working to deter a widening of this conflict, and so we are getting Israel the tools that it requires to defend itself. Yeah.
Thank you, Jake. You just laid out all of the ways that Iran is complicit in this and facilitated it over years of support for Hamas. Is that reason enough to refreeze the $6 billion that the U.S. helped unlock for them to get in exchange for the prisoners?
We have not yet had a dollar of that $6 billion spent, and I will leave it at that.
But will you refreeze it based on this activity that you just laid out, all of the ways that they are complicit in this? The administration said that if we see them going in the wrong direction, that we would stop that down. I understand the position that you guys have, that not a dollar of this has been spent. But will you prevent it from getting into their hands to allow them to, do what they do that you just laid out?
Let me just reiterate what I said, because it's unequivocal. Not a dollar of that money has been spent, and I will leave it at that.
Is it being considered?
Yes.
Jacob, if I can ask you, will the U.S. support Israel's military attacks in Gaza for as long as it takes, until the hostages are freed, or until Hamas is destroyed? I guess in simple terms, how much retaliation in Gaza is the U.S. willing to accept?
I don't think of this in terms of retaliation. This is about providing support to Israel as it seeks to defend its territory and
so we're going to break in here. So you've been listening to Jake Sullivan answer questions at the White House podium, which, this is the situation. This is the state of affairs that we're in. The president comes out and makes a speech. He could have answered questions. I cannot imagine that Donald Trump would not have taken questions himself. And if they would have said, absolutely, under no circumstances should you take questions, he would have said, Acosta, let's go. And it still would have happened. But this, I think, is the right way to do this. Joe Biden can take questions. The president of the United States cannot handle taking questions. The statement that was delivered by President Biden was an absolute pro-Israel statement that put America directly in alignment with Israel, in my opinion. If I go back and listen to it, maybe I'll hear some things differently, but that was my assessment of it from a first listen, listening to it live with you. He made the statement. He got off the stage. Jake Sullivan is answering these questions. I can't imagine what Joe Biden would say when Jackie Heinrich there says $6 billion in the trade to get the hostages home, questioning about that. All Joe Biden does is half smirk, laugh at her, and then say something that is incoherent. Like it makes a personal attack to the person who's asking the question and then moves on. We don't get an answer to the question. Jackie Heinrich just asked Jake Sullivan that question, and he said, not a penny of that has been sent. We'll leave it at that. Folks, if the money has not been spent and it's still sitting and holding, freeze it, cancel it, keep it. Don't let a penny of that go to where it's supposed to be. Don't. Put the literal money where your figurative mouth is. Let's take a quick break. Brad and Ryan in studio with me here. We're going to react to what we've heard so far. I've talked plenty, and we'll see what Brad and Ryan think about what took place this weekend, what we've heard so far from our fearless leader and President Joe Biden, and your thoughts as well as the comments continue to come in on the Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. We've got a lot of votes, but we need yours as well. We need your thoughts in the comments. The question is, will this war come to America? Yes or no? We've got people making comments right now, including, let's pull up Frank. Frank said, I voted no, but that may just be wishful thinking. I think a lot of us might be there as well, Frank. Stick around, give us your thoughts, give us your vote, and we will get to them when we come back.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Frey Show. Again. She told me I was never looking for a friend. Maybe you could swing by my room around 10. Baby, bring the lemon and the bottle of gin.
So the Vitae Foundation is doing yet another fundraiser. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be a part of these and have you join me. Please come join me at an evening with the Robertsons, October 26th. And what we're going to do is get together. We're going to have a social at 6 o'clock, a dinner, and a wonderful program from 7 to 9 p.m. where Al and Lisa Robertson of the Duck Dynasty family join us. Al Robertson is the oldest son of Phil Robertson and Miss Kay. Al's wife, Lisa, calls herself the original Robertson daughter-in-law, and they pastored for over 22 years at the White's Ferry Road Church in Louisiana before returning to the family business, Duck Commander, and appearing on the TV show from time to time, Duck Dynasty, on A&E. Al was known as the beardless brother, and he is, along with his wife, Lisa, will be in St. Charles with me and with you on October 26th. Get your tickets now by going to prowomanaapproach.com. You can see the Robertson event in St. Charles. It's going to take place at Bogey Hills Country Club from 6 to 9 p.m. on October 26th. I would love to see you there. Please go sign up, get your tickets, get a table, and it's all to help a wonderful cause with the Vitae Foundation to help these women who might find themselves in an unexpected or unwanted pregnancy choose life with the support of people exactly like you. Go online to prowomanaapproach.com.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to experience something paranormal, supernatural, or unexplainable? Join host Jack Wagner on the podcast Otherworld as he explores spine-chilling real stories shared by everyday people who have experienced something unexplainable. Listen each week for first-person testimony from people who have come face-to-face with something that can't just be explained away. Listen and follow Otherworld, an Odyssey podcast, available now on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-3333. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, job relocation houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-3333. That's 314-782-3333.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. The winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Deadline to enter is the end of the month to win the $5,000 sweepstakes with Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. You can't win if you don't enter at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
I'm a pilot, martial artist, mountain biker, hiker. The thing that brings me down is my feet. When my wife finally talked me into going into the Good Feet store, the salesperson there immediately started investing himself in my problem. And now that I wear the inserts all the time, I'm not feeling the pain. They're comfortable to have in, and it's uncomfortable not to feel them in my shoes because I know the positive effect they've had. This is not something that you could solve online. There's got to be somebody there that can help you find that fit. You put in the arch supports and your day becomes better and the clouds go away and it's a good life. Good Feet has saved the day.
Call now 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive west of I-270 in the Plaza with Subway in Shiloh, Illinois, and at goodfeetstlouis.com. Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Enjoy comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief. And Good Feet arch supports are proudly made in the USA.
Wouldn't your kids love to take a trip to the North Pole to see Santa? Goodwill and the St. Louis Union Station have partnered to give you a chance to win a magical holiday staycation for 4 that includes all the fun at St. Louis Union Station, plus a first-class ride on the Polar Express. Drop off a donation of clothing or other items to your local Goodwill and get a secret entry code, plus 20% off St. Louis Union Station attractions. For more information about this magical staycation, visit mersgoodwill.org.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Save up to 20% on a new HVAC system when you bundle it with attic insulation. 9 out of 10 homes are under insulated. For a free estimate on attic insulation, visit aircomfortservice.com.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
You got your body. to me tight, tie me up again. Who's got the claws in you, my friend? Into your heart beat again. Sweet like candy to my soul. Sweet you are, and sweet you roll. Lost for you, I'm so lost for you.
So we are sad at what's happened. I'm angry at what happened. I think that we need justice, and I think that justice needs to be so severe that they wouldn't think of doing this ever again. And you can count on us to be a friend and to be an ally of the state of Israel and of the Jewish people.
That's Ron DeSantis talking about his thoughts on the conflict is not even like the appropriate word, the atrocities that took place in Israel over the weekend. We heard earlier in the show from Donald Trump, Mike Pompeo has spoken on it. We listened to comments from people who we've had on the show, Congressman Mike Bost, who joined us at 12:25 and gave his perspective on what we need to be saying as a country, what the House's role is in that. If we are missing a speaker, how does that affect the outcome here? And he talked about the speakership too, that vote happening likely tomorrow. We will cover all of that here. The Bret Baier interview that we were supposed to have at 1:25, which this completely not even on the radar of things that matter right now, but super annoying that the President of the United States is an hour and 25 minutes late right when we are scheduled to have Bret Baier on the show. He's been very kind and generous with his time, and we'll be back tomorrow at 1:05 on the Annie Frey Show to talk about this news that we're covering today, including his book that's out that talks about our fragile American experiment. It's called To Rescue the Constitution. So we'll talk to Bret Baier tomorrow at 1:05. Be back here and hang out with us then. Dakota Wood was at 1:05 before then, and he really gave us a more militaristic viewpoint of the war, what's going on. So I'm going to ask Brad and Ryan here and get your thoughts as well on the YouTube live chat poll for today, which is, will this war come to America? Yes or no? Jerry comments on the Annie Frey YouTube channel, I voted yes. They are already here. They snuck across the border and waiting for their time. Wavy says, I don't think an attack of this nature will come to American soil as long as we don't defund U.S. intelligence. I hope this is a wake-up call for Republicans to get our house in order, most literally. Give us your thoughts and a comment on the Annie Frey YouTube channel and vote in the YouTube live chat poll. We'll give those results in about 20 minutes. Brad, your thoughts on today's YouTube live chat poll. Will this war come to America?
Man, I sure hope not, but I was watching some stats the other day, earlier today. Bill Malugin was on, and it was, I think, year to date today, 153 known terrorists on the terror watch list were apprehended at the southern border. To give that a little bit of perspective, I believe the last 3 years of Trump's presidency was something like 6, 0, and 3. And when you look at how the Biden administration's handled the southern border, then too on that graph they showed, it just climbed. It went from like 38 to 93 to 153. And that's the ones that we're catching. These are the people that we're catching. There is something at the southern border called gotaways. It's people that cross the border. It's an estimation. We don't know who they are. We don't actually know if we've caught 153, how many people have gotten away, what terror cells are they part of, are they linked to Hamas, are they linked to other terror groups that Iran is funding, are they linked to any terror groups that ISIS would like to see come in here and do something horrible. Man, with the porous southern border and the ability for people to mix in with other immigrants and just get through the border, I don't see how it doesn't come here. I don't see how we don't get a terror attack.
You're a yes?
I'm a yes.
Ryan, what do you think?
I'm a no. I don't think that this war is coming to America. It doesn't mean that we couldn't see violence. It doesn't mean that we couldn't see more terrorism or terrorist attacks in the United States for a lot of the reasons that Brad just outlined, the southern border being chief among those issues that the Biden administration has not addressed very well or at all. But I think this war in particular is so deeply spiritually rooted. For thousands of years, these have been the same groups of people who have been going at these wars. Now, that doesn't mean they don't hate America. We are aligning ourselves on the right side in this war. That's good.
Yes.
I'm very, very glad to see that. But I don't think that this particular war makes its way to our shores.
How do you separate that, though? I mean, it's terror.
Well, I mean, as part of just terror, then maybe.
I mean, like, real honest question. What is it that terrorists don't like about the United States?
They don't like that we stand for, I mean,
Israel.
Yeah, Israel. I was
that's
trying
the
to say
war.
it like deeper, but it's really not.
Oh.
I mean, they don't like that we stand with Israel. We are the number one partner of Israel in the world, and we're the strongest nation in the world. And Israel is very strong too. And I don't know if it comes to us for that reason. But that doesn't mean that we're taking the wrong side. It means we are taking the right side.
I don't think anybody's saying that.
No. I just don't want to say, well, Ryan's saying that we're going to be getting terrorism here because we're taking a stand with Israel. Well, I'm just being clear that I still think we're taking the right stand, even if it costs us.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, that is why terrorism would be here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't necessarily associate that same war that's happening. What they just did was so calculated. And I mean, with the kidnapping and the murder, I don't see that happening here in the same way as they can do it there.
Yeah, but that's the manifestation of the proximity of that location coming out of, where Hamas has come out of to make those attacks. But that doesn't mean that terrorism doesn't have to look like that here to not be directly related to what's going on in Israel right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's terrorism. It's what breeds fear into people to cause them to act differently. And they need America to act differently. They need America to be in fear of what could possibly happen so that they act accordingly. And, the affected outcome, Brad, is the way I understand it, would be to stop supporting Israel.
Yeah. Hamas, Iran, all these countries that hate Israel know that they don't stand a chance at wiping Israel off the map as long as the United States stands by them. And what they need to do is drive a wedge between the United States and Israel so that then Israel is all by itself and isolated. If that happens, that's when things spiral real quick and get real bad. But that's the end game. That's what they want. They don't believe Israel, and then by proxy, Jews have the right to exist. That's where they're at on this. There is no coexistence with these extremist groups. So they want to drive the United States away, and if that means they have to inflict pain upon the U.S. and get us to try to say, oh, well, we're supporting Israel too much, we need to stop.
Wouldn't that be the best way to stop America from supporting Israel, is to say, if you continue to do this, we bring it to you?
I don't know. I mean, maybe. But I remember what it was like after 9/11, and that brought Americans together. There was a lot of resolve initially, right after it. And I don't see how I know we're separated. I know we're divided as a country. I know there would be those sects that no, we need to definitely support Palestine and stop all this nonsense. But I think Americans as a whole, if they saw American bodies lying in American streets after this, would be enraged, and they would be calling for a complete and utter evisceration of these nations that, brought about these attacks.
Which is what Israel is doing, because that's what just happened to them. I think that, my answer to this question is, if this war will come to America, right now it's a yes, because the path we're on, it's here. And it's a matter of time. I think that could be redirected, but something would have to dramatically change in order to make that the case. And it is not too small of a statement or too big of a statement to say that it has to be the presidency, has to change. Congress has to change. Those elections that we are going to be fighting and bickering over like adolescent children for the next 392 days until this election is actually here, the amount of consequence that will transpire over those 392 days, it's interesting to think about the trivial things that we have the luxury of arguing over. I always say this, more from an economic standpoint, but America is so greatly blessed economically and prosperity that we get to dabble in socialism. We get to entertain the idea of some sort of utopian, socialistic, communistic existence where everybody can share everything and everybody will have what they need. And you just need to, sign over some freedoms and some liberties because it's what's for the greater good. Well, that's because you think that the people who are living in the greatest prosperity are then going to share that greatest prosperity from all the people who aren't enjoying it. And that's not ever in the existence of the world how that situation has worked out. Not a single time. And it's not going to work here either. The thing that makes America great is this idea that we are different than anywhere else on the planet. And yeah, they hate us for it, but ultimately, you know, the hatred that these terrorists and Hamas will have to us is that the ends of all of their means is to retake this land. Look what they're willing to do to get it. To enrage Israel to the point where they're about to do whatever it is that they're completely about to do. You know, 6 figures of ground troops that are essentially, if you are able-bodied, you're involved. And that was one thing that Dakota Wood said that really shocked me. Brad, I don't know if you had this context framed this way before, but he compared the size of Israel to the size of the United States and the devastation of 9/11 from a percentage-wise. We are talking the equivalent to what Israel lost in this attack would be tens of thousands of American lives that were taken in a terrorist attack. Because Israel is so much smaller than us, and the bodies literally keep piling up. I don't know if I don't know what's going to happen in this country in 5 minutes, let alone in days or years. But I do know that we are on the path to our own destruction, and it is so clearly the policies of this administration and the Democrat Party. That sounds political. It is political, but it's also right. Who in Israel right now is fretting over climate change? Please, spare me. And if you're somebody in this country who has a loved one over in Israel right now, I am talking to people personally who have children in school over in Israel. I'm talking to people who go to local Lutheran churches here who have a tourist group over in Israel right now, and they're trying to get home. It's hitting all kinds of people. I mean, we gotta face the music here and start talking about the issues that are really going to matter to our existence as we know it. Because what these people are capable of, man, I can't even imagine it. Go vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Brad's a yes. Ryan's a no. I'm a yes. What are you? YouTube live chat poll for today. Will this war come to America? Yes or no? Give us your feedback and your comments on the Annie Frey YouTube live right now. We'll feature some of them when we come back. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
In a boy's dream.
When you shop at Ruler Foods, you're going to enjoy low prices every day. It's that simple. You go to rulerfoods.com, find the one closest to you. We've been out at the one in St. Charles for a diaper drive and food drive. We've been out to the Collinsville one for the most recent diaper drive. There are Ruler Foods all over the bi-state region, so find the one closest to you and start saving. They have Kroger brands at Ruler Foods prices, plus all the name brand stuff that you like to purchase every day. Save your money and shop at Ruler Foods. Right now, they have red or white seedless grapes or Honeycrisp apples, delish, $1.69 a pound. 5-pound Kroger Idaho potatoes, 3-pound yellow onions, $1.99 each. Kroger 73% lean ground beef and 3-pound rolls, $3.66 a pound. Looks like you can make some good chili with a couple of those items. 5 meal deals like fresh chicken drumsticks, 4.5-pound package, $5. Thin sliced chicken breast, 1.5-pound package, $5. Boneless pork mixed chops, 1.5 pounds, $5. These are great opportunities for you to provide for yourself, for your family, and save money on the stuff that you're buying all of the time. Like I said, Kroger brands at Ruler Foods prices, plus all of the great brands that you love for less. Go online to rulerfoods.com.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering how long your money will last? Are you also sick of worrying about losing your life savings in the next market crash? I'm Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw. As a family business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. Let us build your own personalized structured income plan, which will show you how much income you can receive in retirement, but more importantly, it will show you how long your money will last. Stop wondering if you have enough to retire comfortably.
Call us now at 314-993-9494 for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. We'll teach you the strategies you won't hear from your broker or banker. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping our clients retire with confidence for the past 37 years. Let us help you. So go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
How about getting started on that next great project in your backyard and having 4 years interest-free financing to pay for it? Mark Cox here. Call my friends at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Mention my name, and they'll give you 48 months interest-free financing. That's 636-532-4054. Get started today. Get your free estimate. The fantastic thing about Chesterfield Fence and Deck, they've been around 55 years, operated by the same ownership all that time, and they take a lot of pride in what they do. They will give you no obligation estimates and free project design. Maybe you've got a great idea for the backyard, or maybe you'd like them to bring something to show you that a neighbor has done. Whatever that happens to be, fences, decks, pergolas, sunrooms, screen rooms, patios, they can handle it at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Remember, tell them you heard Mark Cox talking about it. Get 48 months interest-free. Go online today to chesterfieldfence.com.
Want immediate cash for your home or see what your home is really worth in today's market? Find out for free from the local experts, my friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. Check out thegelmanteam.com today. That's thegelmanteam.com.
If you want to lose weight, I've got a great idea for you. Mark Cox here for my friends at Victory Men's Health. They're now offering FDA-approved semaglutide. They have tremendous results with this medication. The average patient loses 15% of their body weight. Men and women can get semaglutide from Victory Men's Health at any of their 3 locations. Be sure and book your appointment today online at victorymenshealth.com.
Today's Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll, we were just talking about it. Will this war come to America? What do you think? Yes or no? Let us know and leave us a comment. We'd like to see what you think, not just yes or no, but why. It is 2:47. We'll reveal the results of that poll in just a minute. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
I hitched a ride with a vending machine repairman. He said he's been down this road more than twice. He was high on intellectualism. I've never been there, but the brochure looks nice. Jump in, let's go. Lay back, enjoy the show. Everybody gets high, everybody gets low. These are the days when anything goes. Every day.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. I adore this song. Brad, thoughts on Sheryl Crow?
This might blow your mind.
You like
not,
it?
Not a fan.
No, it didn't blow my mind. Ryan?
Yeah, I'm going to put myself in the category of a Sheryl Crow fan.
You are?
Yeah.
I think she's great. I think she's stupid politically, but I like her music.
I don't know that much about her
The only
politically.
Sheryl Crow song I like is that one she did with Kid Rock.
Picture?
Yeah.
The thing that annoys me about Sheryl Crow, and I think y'all are going to see where I'm coming from, whether you agree with her or not, because she's very politically left. But whenever Sheryl Crow comes out with a leftist view on something, which is what her views are, they always talk about how she's Midwestern Missouri. And I'm like, shut up. She does not speak for the Midwest.
She is what we like to...
My Venn diagram circle does not intersect with Sheryl Crow's.
She is the exception that proves the rule.
Yeah. Small town girl, Sheryl Crow. What? No, it's not how it works. It's not. And it's annoying. Remember when she was like, save the planet, use 1 square of toilet paper?
No, I don't remember that.
Google Sheryl Crow toilet paper right now and read just read a headline from the first story that comes up. Right now, do it. Sheryl Crow
toilet paper.
Yes.
Okay.
And then find the first news source that you recognize that we will air quotes say is reputable.
Okay. The Guardian.
Okay, that's fine.
Sheryl Crow's view on toilet paper.
Yeah.
1 sheet a visit. There's the headline, 2007.
1 sheet.
1 sheet per visit.
Per visit.
Not 2. Only 1 in 1 sitting.
What's the article say?
Okay, I'll open it up. It says
Midwest Missouri girl says only use 1 sheet per visit in your outhouse.
I'm looking for that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. The story reads, all I want to do is have some fun, sang Sheryl Crow once. But it appears
gross. Gross.
But it appears her desires have since changed. Now all she wants to do is limit the use of toilet paper to 1 sheet per visit. The singer made her declaration in an article for the Huffington Post.
I'm going to guess that this story came out in 2013.
No, it's 2007.
2007, so
Yeah.
it's even older than that.
Yeah. To promote
I
her
kinda remember that.
Oh, she was doing a Stop Global Warming college tour.
Yes.
An 11-date tour explaining the perils of global warming to Americans. Man, how much would you like to see that
Can
tour?
you imagine being in Israel right now and like seeing a poster for that forum? Save the planet, la-di-da. Use 1 sheet of toilet paper.
Mm-hmm.
Quick, Rick's got it right. Don't shake hands with Sheryl Crow.
Gross.
I don't know what he means by that, but I wouldn't.
Accompanied by Larry David's wife, Lori David. I guess they really were just talking. I don't know if they were doing I don't know if she does any music. It says the pair have been crisscrossing the country in a biodiesel-powered bus, spreading the word on the bathroom hygiene of the future. I actually kind of do want to see that now.
Mm-mm.
I want to go back in time just for that purpose.
That's how the war comes to America. It's the toilet papers and the non-toilet papers.
What's great about the hey, she's one of you thing, like she's Midwestern, is it's clear that these are non-Midwesterners going, look, here's somebody who's espousing exactly what we believe. Why don't you listen to her? You won't listen to us.
You think
Why don't you listen to her?
You think Sheryl Crow's ever pooped in the woods? You think she's ever peed in the woods?
I think so.
You think so?
I don't know. I
Yeah,
think
if she's
so.
good with 1 square of toilet paper, she surely has.
It's like, use a leaf. Shake it off first. Sure there are no bugs.
That's a good
Ew.
question.
Ew.
That's a good question about anybody, really, not just Sheryl Crow.
I mean, if you have any experience in the Midwest or the country, if you've ever been to a field party of any kind, not that I have. My kids are orthodontist appointment today. Never done that.
Number 1's one thing. Number 2, that's where
says
you gotta ask the
you
question.
man. Number 1's one thing.
That's,
You pee on the 7th hole at the golf course.
Yeah, in the hole. Don't hit it in.
Gross.
That was a very specific
taking him so
example
long on
of
the
something
green?
that I don't know that he's ever done.
What's he doing up there with that flag?
He looks like he's trying to assess the lay of the green, but he's standing over the hole. What is he doing?
Yeah, he's just getting a real good long read of that
Man,
green.
Quick Rick is on fire. He says, "It's in the hole."
Hole for a hole.
Man, this was a serious show for
Yeah, it was.
87% of the time.
I got to tell you, there is one
new
place
record.
that if I were going to have to go outside, I would want to do it on a golf course because it's nice. I don't want to go somewhere like in the weeds. Gross. I want to do it where the grass is manicured and I just be helping out.
Don't touch your bum bum.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to pee where it's nice. You're supposed to go into the woods.
I'm not talking about peeing.
Well, you're not supposed to poop where it's nice either.
That's why I haven't done it. It's socially unacceptable. I'm not going to go in the weeds because I don't want to do it. I'm not going to do it on a golf course because people would make fun of me.
Never talk about it again.
Okay. Done.
It's funny how that really came from full circle from somebody on the beginning of this hour, I think, was posted the comment, "Is Annie too scared to call out Cori Bush?"
Yeah, where did that come from?
I don't know.
We were
Listen,
talking about her.
I know what her statement was, and it was complete total baloney sausage, but do I even need to give the airtime to the idea that Cori Bush said another something stupid? I mean, like, was she talking? Then you know it's stupid.
I guess that was the point of the comment was, why haven't you talked about this stupid comment from Cori Bush? I guess now I understand.
Is it my responsibility to talk about every stupid thing that Cori Bush says? I only have a 3-hour show.
It's only 3 hours, people. She can't talk about Cori Bush in there. It would take up too much time.
It's the Andy Frey Show, where we talk about the dumb things that Cori Bush says every day, all day.
And then someone suggested that maybe Cori Bush sent the park pooper
right
out the window here.
And now here we are.
And then I thought, well, this all starts to make sense.
We need to make this all about Cori Bush all the time. Cori Bush derangement syndrome.
Man, she's not paying for the time. I'm not going to give her the time.
Listen to what she said today.
The YouTube live chat poll for today, unrelated to anything that we're discussing right now. Will this war come to America? I'm going to read a couple more comments here. OG said, I would avoid any major U.S. city for the next 12 months. And if you have to go to one, carry. Don't become Hamas's next hostage or victim of terrorist action. That is alarmist. I hope you're wrong. Jim said, unfortunately, it's already here. We're not just aware of it yet. No election has ever been more important to this country's future. I concur. Thomas says, anyone who doesn't believe this war or the war will come here is just dumb. The border has been wide open for 3 years. They're here thanks to the administration. The barbarians kidnapped women and children. The results of today's YouTube live chat poll. Will this war come to America? No, 30%. Yes, 67%, with almost 300 votes on the poll today. That's not fun. Let's do better. And let's make a difference in this next 92 days before the election happens. Yes. And do better in the next election and work hard every single day towards that cause while we still have the opportunity. Thank you for listening to us. Check the Annie Frey Show podcast for Congressman Mike Bost, Dakota Wood. We'll be right back.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. Well, it took him long enough, but the president finally emerged from the White House basement to make some remarks about Hamas and Israel. We're going to talk about it right after Fox News.
Hi, it's Guy from the Good Feet store. Listen, if you've been suffering with knee, hip, or back pain, I've got news for you. The problem may be right under your nose. I'm talking about your feet. Think about it. Your whole body is supported by your feet, right? So if they're out of alignment, that could cause issues, not just in your feet, but your knees, hips, even your back. The Good Feet system helps put your feet in your ideal position. And once you do that, everything from there on up just might work better. I'm sure you've been frustrated trying all kinds of things to relieve a foot, knee, back, or hip pain, but maybe the solution was right in front of you the whole time at the Good Feet store. Just stop in and meet with one of our specialists who will personally fit you with the perfect arch support system. They'll let you walk around, try it for free, then you decide if they work for you before you buy. How great is that? Call 314-317